welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. I have a great show for you guys today with two awesome chicks who ride and put tons and tons of miles down. Aram and Taylor of FastBabes. They were in town for the hood ride and some other stuff they were also doing here in DFW, and got a chance to have them on the podcast. I'm really stoked for you guys to hear about them. But before we get into that, I would love for you guys to check out my guys over at Simpson motorcycle helmets. I wear them every day, and you should probably wear a helmet too, especially a Simpson one. Go check them out at simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com as well as Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on the gram. Check them out. You guys already know Lexin Moto has an intercom system for you. The all-new G16 is a group rider's long-awaited answer to an affordable intercom system. With the 16-rider comm system, Bluetooth 5.0, and music sharing, it'll keep your group connected while traveling together. This is another great product from the Lexin team geared at making motorcycle rides and travel more enjoyable. Check it out on lexin-moto.com, where you can also apply the Fast Life offer code and save yourself 15% off. You guys already know thundermax has your EFI-equipped Harley-Davidson covered with their high-quality auto-tuning ECMs. I have been running their computer on my Road Glide for over 40,000 miles, and it continues to give me the optimal performance out of my engine. Paired with their oil cooler fan, which is an M8 touring models only fan, my bike has been running strong and at a desirable temperature. You can also check out all these products at shoptmax.com and use offer code FASTLIFE to save yourself 10% off, and give these guys a follow at thundermax EFI on Instagram. You guys have probably seen my Road Glide and noticed the badass LED headlight, brake, and turn signals, all from Letric Lighting Co. They have a ton of lighting options for many different Harley-Davidson models. All lighting is backed by great warranties and plug-and-play options, so you can't go wrong with making the switch or stepping up to Letric Lighting Co. NAM's custom cycle product since 1999 has been offering American-made wiring products for all things V-twin, and Badlands for over 30 years has been offering the most reliable and dependable lighting modules in the USA, all backed by lifetime warranties. Find out more about these great companies at namscustomcycleproducts.com, and you can drop the FL 2020 offer code to save yourself some shipping on orders over $100. John Jessup's Team Dream Rides out of Stockton, California is a one-stop shop to have your motorcycle customized, maintained, repaired, and upgraded. With in-house dyno tuning, parts, and accessories, you can't go wrong. Also check out teamdreamrides.com online store to see the full array of products for your bike and you as a rider. And if you're short on cash, you can take advantage of the 100 days same as cash financing on all products at teamdreamrides.com. All you need is a job and a bank account, and you're set. And while you're at it, give John and the team a follow at DreamRidesJohn on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake has you covered, literally, with all the badass flakes and pearls you could ever want or need. Head on over to painthuffer.com and you can save yourself 10% on their website by using FastLife26 offer code. They have just about everything you need for the custom paint process, and you can't go wrong at painthuffer.com. Also, last but not least, head on over to Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and check out all the badass work created by many, many amazing, talented painters across the world using Paint Huffer Metal Flake products. Check them out. Paint Huffer Metal Flakes on the gram. Yo, what's up, and welcome back to the podcast. And if you just listened to all the ads, then, well, you guys already know. I use that a little bit too much in those ads. I'm going to have to work on that. But anyway, we're back with the FastBabes, Aram and Taylor. Like I said, great chicks, tons and tons of miles. I admire what they do, and I want you guys to check them out. And, well, I guess you are checking them out. Here they are, the FastBabes.
Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
This is a rough morning.
It is.
It's not like for me, it's not a hangover.
It's a lack of sleep.
Yeah, I'm just tired. Like, it's
a lot has bucking out. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
What happened last night? Can I just hit this in here? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not weed. It's not. It's a pod.
That's fine.
I left it here. I found 2 out of 3 now.
Not to be incriminated. It is not drugs.
Yeah. We're definitely not in California. No, it's all good.
Definitely.
Well, you guys came here for your own thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of looped into our thing as well, and it all worked out great.
Yeah, that's kind of what we planned on. We wanted to do a ride before and then meet up with all the guys at Strokers and ride with you guys. But
So what is FastBabes? What is this shit?
It's just me and Taylor, and we're gonna put on rides, and we're gonna get women involved and try to get them out of their comfort zone, try to get them to do a little bit of distance, go meet new people that they maybe never met before, make new connections, and then, maybe down the line, whenever they want to do their own trip in a couple months, they're like, hey, I met this girl, and she lives up in NorCal, I want to plan a trip to Oregon, let me go crash on her couch, and, build connections throughout the country, and just get them to get outside their comfort zones and meet new people, and, don't be, intimidated, and...
Without, not saying anything bad about all the other ones, like the Babes Ride Out and things like that, do you think those things have gotten so big that it doesn't feel like you don't feel a connection or feel like you're really meeting someone, something like that?
So I think that, especially with Babes Ride Out, because when we planned our first camp out, we planned it because Babes Ride Out got canceled. So I had a bunch of girlfriends hit me up, and they were like, Babes Ride Out is canceled. What are we doing this year? And I was like, we could do our own little thing. And at the time, I was actually filming with Babes Ride Out for a video thing they're doing. And I, ran it by them. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. And, I'm not trying to step on any toes. And they were so stoked. They're like, we think that's rad. We, as a large organization, can't have an event this year. We are so stoked that girls are, planning their own things. 100% go for it. We'll even, help you promote it, whatever you want. And so I think that inspired me to be these women are badass, they're supportive, this isn't a competition, we would never try and compete, we're not trying to do something that's already been done, we're just we went on a trip and we had a great time together. Another friend of ours, Heather, was with us. Heather and Aram didn't know each other by the time that the trip was over. We were all super close. And I think that's what it's about, is just being willing to open up and meet new girls. And I think that smaller rides are a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Babes Ride Out is massive. It's overwhelming. She was at Babes Ride Out last year.
We didn't even see each other.
Yeah, never even crossed paths. There's 2,000 women there. It's huge. So I think for us, these smaller, more loose program kind of trips, our trip to Utah to Four Corners, the motorcycle event, we had a plan. We had an itinerary, actually. But, we stopped and we did so much, fun stuff. And we met up with Heather knew people that we met up and hung out with. And it was just so much fun. And that's our whole goal with it. It's just going
I would say the smaller events, what you guys are doing to fill the gap, even continue to do that, but then leading up to, say, the big Babes Ride Out event, which is usually in Joshua Tree, right? Or something like that?
So, they moved it up to NorCal. It was in Joshua Tree. And then they do the East Coast one as well, which I've been to, the one in New York. But, I think, we have a lot of fun going to events. We didn't get to go to Sturgis this year. It just didn't work out. But I think we're going to try and hit a lot of big events next year. And we want to, encourage women to go with. If you're going to travel with your dude and you can, meet us there or whatever, or you want to ride with us because you don't have anyone to ride with, or you want to ditch your dude and come with us because we're more fun, cool, however you want to do it. We're just going to go, and we're not trying to make this, I guess, a full-on, we're not going to probably put on our own Babes Ride Out per se. We did the first camp out, and it was super fun, but I think we're just going to go to all these other really fun things that already exist that don't have, a women's presence, like Sturgis. I think it'd be cool to rally a bunch of chicks to ride from SoCal to Sturgis.
Yeah, that'd be dope. What I was trying to say is, so when you do all these, smaller rides and you build these little smaller factions of friends, I guess, then when you do go to Babes Ride Out or these other bigger events, you kind of already have built, the small community of people. So, you're not just standing there by yourself who the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
It's overwhelming people and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I showed up to Babes last year. I went by myself. I rode from NorCal, and it was down in Santa Margarita, which is the Central Coast. I took one the whole way down, camped on the coast Thursday night, and then went out to Babes Friday. And I didn't know anybody. And I knew a couple girls from Instagram that I'd never met before, and they were going out. And I was like, hey, let's meet up. I'm out here by myself. I met up with Lisa. Her Instagram's Street Barbarella, and we rode all weekend. And then I met my friend Danielle there, and now we're best friends. And same thing. I'll go down to LA where she's at, and I'll crash on her couch now. We met through the motorcycle community, and I've met so many people that way. And I think just contributing and adding more women's events, it's only going to help.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a competition. We just want everyone to have a great time, make friends, have memories, go explore. Our Four Corners trip is I'll remember that for a lifetime. It was amazing. The views we saw, the roads we rode, it was just great. And her and Heather, the chemistry just works so well. Whenever you get women together that are like-minded, it's just so simple and easy, and I don't know. We just
I
like went
feel like
with the
that's the
flow.
way it is with guys too. Like when we do guy things and there's no chicks around, things work out real easy for us.
Yeah, and like I don't mind like doing things like co-ed. Like we can go hang out with guys, of course. Like I don't mind. Like I'm not like, oh fuck men, but like also like it's nice whenever you have women together because there's like it's just like a different chemistry. Like we just vibe differently, and it's great.
You know, I always say like, you know, when not that I'm a different person, but like I just when I'm around nothing but guys, I'm just like I really don't have any shame versus like around my wife and other women. I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm weird or something like that. You know what I mean? But no, I get it. The whole traveling aspect, that shit's awesome. And that stuff speaks to me hardcore as well. And one of the things that we promote a lot on this podcast is about like traveling, especially camp outs, things like that, because it gets people out of their comfort zone. Just like women, dude, men are the same way. Like there's dudes all over the country that don't have a friends group like us, but they don't also live in a very high area of our type of bikers, right? Mm-hmm. The type of bikes you ride, the type of events we go to. Where are you going to do that in Iowa? Yeah. It's not really a thing there. But there's so you have these events, these smaller ones, these camp outs and things like that, and they get to come and meet all these people they follow online, and then they're sitting there having a beer with them next to a fire and partying and riding with them the next day, and all of a sudden the country doesn't feel big anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's awesome to see that that's the same way it is for women as well. So
yeah,
I was on the ride to New York, and I was at the ferry to go from Milwaukee to Michigan, and this chick riding with Rhonda, I think is her name, and she's like, you know, her husband passed away a couple years ago. She's like 65 or something. She has a sport glide. She's just I pulled up behind it. You know, when you do a ferry, you just got to line up and shit. And there's this nice sport glide, and then this chick walks out. She's definitely a biker, and I'm like, wait, there's no back seat on there. So I'm gonna ask her for that. And then I realized, and we talked on the whole like 2.5 hour ride, and she was telling me how she was a school teacher. All her kids are grown. She sold her house. She has like a little like fifth wheel that she leaves in PA and just rides her bike all over the fucking country.
That's awesome.
And I was like, it's super badass.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
So like that kind of stuff, like to me, it's like that's rad. You know what I mean? And
it's like inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just in Texas recently. I started following her online and shit, and I was like, you got to come by the studio. We got to do this podcast. You know, I want people to hear your story because it was fascinating to listen to it. Yeah. So what else do you guys do for a living though? Like how do you get a lot of time to work or
no? We both have 40-hour jobs, like regular 9 to 5s during the week, and then doing this on top. She's so organized. She's like 90% of everything with her spreadsheets and shit.
Yeah. Well, like recently, I mean, I had a job before that I don't think I ever would have been able to do this with. So I worked in like the events world, and I worked weekends all the time. And so I think during COVID, I got laid off. And I did a cross-country trip, and I was on the road for 2 months straight, and it kind of gave me, like, a lot of clarity. And I came home, and now I have a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, which allows me to do this. Like, I know I have my weekends. I can plan stuff. I'm riding so much more than I ever was. I had a Sportster for 2 years, and I put maybe 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it. I bought a bike in January, and I put 28,000 miles on it. That's how much having, like, a job that allows you to, like, clock out at 5 o'clock and go home and enjoy your life. It's definitely, like, more work-life balance now. And so it's definitely given me like freedom to do this.
That's cool.
But
yeah, all the things we do. I mean, I was just having a beer with this dude 2 months ago in Brooklyn, you know, and then like since then it's been every weekend. With Florida 2 weekends ago, and then Bandera, Texas last weekend. This weekend. Thanksgiving this week, so this is a break this week.
It was almost
Thank
like
goodness.
And then Orlando in 2 weeks. It's like this constant. It's like we're supposed to be like not doing shit, and I feel like we're doing more shit this year than we ever have. I've definitely done more stuff this year.
I've definitely been on the bike more this
me.
year with COVID and everything, just traveling.
Well, I think it like caused a lot of people to like put in perspective. Like at least when I was on my trip, I had so many people hit me up. I wish I had the time to do that. I wish I could go do stuff like that. And I'm like, no, but you do. It's like, do you prioritize it in your life? And I think with us, like we both really like traveling. So when the Utah trip came up, like we just made it a priority. We planned this trip and we did it. And like this weekend, it was like, we want to go ride in Texas. We're going to make this happen. So I think it's just like wanting to like get out and do it and not use like.
Well, it's kind of. I mean, I get it. It's scary. Like the same thing for a lot of people. They see people riding across country, but if you've never done it and you don't know anybody that's done it, the thoughts going through your head. I remember the first time I did it. My mom. I was 30 years old. My mom's like, you're just gonna go by yourself? Are you scared? I'm like,
Yeah.
and I felt scared going by myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been conditioned to be scared of this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Until like after like I got far enough away from Dallas, I was like, fuck, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah,
This
you
is
hit like
awesome.
your third day and you're like, well, I can't go home now.
Yeah.
I'm far enough away. We're doing it.
Yeah.
That's how I was. My dad made me wear like a tracking device and he was like watching me the whole time. And he'd call me and he'd be like, you've been at this gas station for a really long time. And I'd be like, do you just sit there and watch this? And he's like, yes. Like, I left that gas station 45 minutes ago. It's a lag.
It's a lag.
Like,
So me and my brother, we rode up to Indianapolis. So it was like probably your second pretty decent.
That was my second cross country trip because the first one was Sturgis.
Yeah. And so we were up there doing a podcast with HPI. And while we were in the podcast, the bike I rode up there got stolen.
oh.
So I had to fly home, and he had to, on his second trip ever, at what, 20, 21? You were 21 at least.
I was
Yes.
22 because
Yeah.
I was 21 when we went to Sturgis.
Yeah. Just, hey, Google it.
Yeah, you
That
figure
is
it out.
that is the best.
Nothing else planned. I just knew I had to be at the FXR jam.
Yeah, they were going to the FXR jam, and
and that was in Tennessee.
Arkansas.
Arkansas? Yeah, it was in Arkansas. So I just made my way down there and made sure I didn't run out of gas. I had a lot.
That
of,
helps.
I had a lot more fun by myself, honestly. Like,
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Being by
I
yourself.
enjoy riding by myself,
No, I have-
honestly. Because
when
you
I
can
was-
stop whenever you want. Like,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
worrying about other people. And, like,
Yeah.
if you're cold, you could pull over and put
yeah,
a
you
jacket
might
on. Like,
stop at a gas station or a thrift store or something and just.
It's
fuck
like, yeah,
off
it's
for
your
a
choice.
minute.
Yeah.
It's like what you want to do. You're not worried about who's with you. When I was planning my trip, I was trying to plan it with people, and it was really hard. And then I had a girlfriend of mine, like, say something to me. She was like, you know what? You should just do this by yourself. You're gonna have way more fun. It's gonna mean more to you. You can do whatever you want. And I was like, you're kind of right. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. And while I was doing my trip, a lot of people were like, hey, where are you headed? And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go here and I might go here. And other people would DM me and be like, you should check this out. I had no program. I knew I was going to go to Florida.
yeah.
I was going to, my original goal was to go to Georgia, see my dad. We always do a trip together. And I didn't want to fly. I wanted to take my own bike. So we did Tail of the Dragon together.
That's
And it
dope.
was cool to do it on my own bike, ride there. My dad's never seen my Harley. He's not a Harley guy. So he was
Ooh, what
kind
kind of bike does he ride?
He's really into like vintage cafe racers.
Okay, as long as it's not Indian.
Yeah, not an
I'd have to ask you to leave. Just by blood. You know? No.
He's
That's
definitely
cool.
more into like sport bikes and stuff, but he was stoked on it. He was like, we rode together for a few days in Georgia, and then he's like, where are you headed after this? And I was like, I think I'm gonna go see friends in West Virginia. So I booked it up to West Virginia. I had no time program. I didn't know when I was gonna go back to work. I was like, they'll give me a week's notice, and I can get home in a week. So.
What do you think about West Virginia? Is it good riding? I know you're kind of up in that area as well. Because I know
don't
the
go to
terrain
West
on the
Virginia.
map looks amazing in that area.
You definitely have a lot more mountains. It's greener, which is great. The Blue Ridge Parkway, I've done a couple times. I've never gotten to do it like in its entirety.
But most of that's in Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah, you cut through Virginia
Yeah.
and then go into West Virginia. But I think it's gorgeous.
People in West Virginia are
they're
are
different.
different.
My mom's from West Virginia.
they're different.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
I'm
for
from,
sure
there a couple
I'm
different.
from
times.
Georgia, so I think I'm used to like the southernness of it.
Yeah.
And I had friends there, but it is definitely different. But the terrain is amazing, like mountains, curvy roads.
Yeah, we were talking at breakfast because our big group ride that we do with our you guys met all of my fucking guys
Lunatics.
last night. They're
Lunatics.
If you see them there, you'd probably it's crazy. But we do a big ride every year together, and so this year coming up, the plan was to go northeast and see New York and all that shit. And West Virginia, when I came back from New York, I just cut through a little bitty, like the panhandle of it, just to say I did it.
Yeah.
You know? But, I came through and there's this badass bridge and this river and the mountains and it's green like you were saying. I was like, man, this place looks badass. I just don't know if there's anything to do there.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Blue Ridge Parkway. I mean,
the
Virginia,
ride, but,
West
like,
Virginia. The
Does
Blue
it
Ridge
have a
Parkway
vibe where you can, find a town where you can park it for the night and be able to hit a bar or something like that and get that kind of vibe going?
I think so. I think you roll through a lot of small towns and like people are like generally like pretty nice. That's probably where I felt safest was going through the East Coast regions and stuff.
West Virginia on the East Coast was where you felt safest.
Going through like the Carolinas and like West Virginia, yeah. When I started to go through like Kansas, I've never been through Kansas, and I was like, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what the
Yeah,
people
there
are like
ain't shit
here.
there.
I was just like,
It smells like ass, dude.
yeah. I was like, what is
I
happening?
went through Dodge City this year for the first time. I thought it was cool. It's
very
inherent,
industrial,
like,
right?
As a man, I feel like I have to go through a West phase, like a Wild West phase, where I'm like studying Indians and cowboys, and I'm like
Western expansion,
get my John Wayne on kind of thing. You know what I mean? So,
Do you have a cowboy hat?
I don't.
You live in Texas.
Yeah,
and you
you
do not
live-
have a
yeah.
cowboy hat.
That does,
What?
it's like here's your
I've
driver's
always-
license cowboy hat.
Hey, you gotta come with me to the Stetson warehouse in Garland.
I don't need that. I don't need that in my life.
Where's
But
the vans with it, dude?
the funniest thing is the first time I went to NorCal, when I used to paint up there a lot, and when I went up there, being from Texas, they all thought that I listened to country music and all that shit. And dudes in NorCal are country as fuck, man. Like in the like center, like not Oakland and San Francisco, but like Stockton and,
Yeah,
and
out
fucking
in the valley and
yeah,
shit,
in the
yeah.
valley. Dude, they're like all listening to country music. I'm like, y'all are weird. I thought y'all listened to gangster rap up here or something, you know? And
No, that's like Vallejo and like Oakland
Yeah,
and
yeah.
up there near the bay.
But yeah, it's I don't know, I'm not a cowboy hat fan. But no, what I was saying is like going through these like trying to take a part of the country that's not very interesting to ride through as far as visually, to find something about it that made it special to American history or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So that like, oh man, this is where Doc Holliday was born, or this is where his grave is, or you know what I mean? Those kind of things that just seem interesting about areas that aren't interesting.
Yeah.
So
Well, whenever we went to Four Corners, we stopped by the Grand Canyon, and she's like, could you imagine like coming here like back in, I don't know, 1800, 1900s,
Yeah, you're like
and you're on a horse and you come up to
And
this
you-
canyon.
how do you
you're
get
like,
through this?
How do I get across this?
Where do you go?
I've run into a problem here.
or are you old enough to say you played Oregon Trail in elementary school?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm
That's a
baby
no.
here.
That's a no. That's
I'm
a
a
no. They
baby.
did not catch a dysentery and die.
It's like
I played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where? On what computer? On a computer?
Shitty
On a-
Windows 90 shit.
yeah.
Do you remember?
What with, like,
I
the
caught
big
dysentery
box?
every time.
Yeah. Where it took like 20 minutes to turn on.
Yep.
With
for
dial
sure.
up.
No,
For sure.
the whole point
dial
of
up.
it-
There was no internet to this game. See?
Oh, okay.
Now I know you're wrong. There was no internet to this game.
No, it was like it was a disc.
You shot rabbits.
It was yeah.
That's what you did. You remember, right? You shot rabbits. You built your wagon, and then you
Yeah.
died of dysentery. There was
You
no
had to-
actually
you
winning
had
the
to
game.
Died of
decide if you
dysentery.
wanted
That's
to.
awesome.
You had to decide if you wanted to try to take a chance crossing the river, or if you wanted to turn your carriage into a float and push it across. These are real world problems.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1800s.
Yes.
No, but yeah, so that I think about that too. And when I'm riding basically from here west, you know, the I-35 is kind of like the line between the trees get taller east from here and the trees get shorter west from here. You know what I mean? It's like where you guys were, you know, out with Zach's house is kind of where the kind of hills kind of start, and you go that way, and the trees just go higher and higher like they are in Georgia and things like that. And so when you are traveling across like any of the from here west, and you get in those valleys coming over those mountains, and you're just like the train's like, you know, quarter mile over off the highway, and you're like, fuck yeah, this feels cool as shit. Like you feel like a cowboy going through the pass, and it's like I would rather see the country this way than getting in a car, putting on music, and droning on. It's like this. You're
fully
feeling
like,
it.
in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. I love that shit.
There is a
Yeah.
love affair with like the Southwest as like a motorcycle rider.
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean-
that's the place to ride.
Even
Yeah.
I mean, you could ask people that are from there, like Phoenix and all that. They got great riding, but then it's also hot as shit.
It's fucking hot.
yeah.
We had a
We had to get towed.
incident. We had to get towed.
I mean,
home.
I was dying.
We had a truck pull over and give us beer.
Yeah.
It was
So we
Probably
were
not
coming
what we
back.
needed.
What was the trip y'all were doing?
We were doing Four Corners, and we were coming back, and we stayed the night in Williams. And we left there to come back into California. And we're like, okay, let's go through Blythe because it's going to be 114, and Needles is going to be 124.
Yeah.
So we went through Blythe, and it got up to like 118, and we stopped. We got water. I put like ice in my sports bra. We soaked our shirts. Did all the odds and ends
Yeah.
and whatever. We get like 10 minutes down the road, shirt's completely dry, ice is melted, like it's 118.
It was like so hot you couldn't lift your visor. It was like hotter when
The
you
wind
lifted
hurt your
visor.
skin.
Yeah.
And then
Going faster doesn't help.
we're
Like
splitting at
nothing
like
helps.
110, like dangerous. Like I'm getting lightheaded. I feel like I'm going to pass out.
You have to travel at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on that picture right there, that was on our way to Born Free 10, I believe, 2018. And so I usually ride up to NorCal, like I used to do it every year, and then my boys started going with me, so we would ride up to NorCal, see all my friends up there, and then ride the coast down to Born Free and then come home. And that year, actually the day after that picture, we were going from Vegas to not Barstow, Bakersfield, and then we were headed north. Dude, same shit. If you didn't have gloves on, it was like 118. It felt like someone took a blow dryer
And they're just holding
to
it.
your knuckles.
Yeah.
And then like you could buy a bag of ice and just set it in your lap.
Yeah.
You know, there's video of me taking that helmet right there off and dumping a whole bottle of water in it.
Yeah.
And then it's dry. 20 minutes down the road. Or 20
I
miles.
was always, I'll take like a bottle like this and poke a hole in it and then just keep filling it up and just like spray it on myself. Like squeeze it and it's just like every like 10
Air
minutes.
conditioner.
But we got under an overpass because we're in the desert and that's the only shade, and we're sitting there and cars are flying by, like they're going, honking. We're like, there's 3 girls on the side of a freeway on motorcycles. Like, what guy doesn't want to stop? You know,
Yeah.
like nobody's stopping to help us. And then we're like, okay, we just need to get closer to a gas station. So we try to go further.
Yeah, there's
and we get
gas stations like next
like
one's
30
like 30
miles away.
Like, we're
So
not
yeah,
close.
you're gonna hit. Once you leave Blythe, then there's like one at the summit. I think
Yeah.
of that.
It was
We were like
far.
in that stretch, and I remember like getting on Instagram to like post something, and the location just said Hell, California, and I was like, "This is correct. Like this is it."
But we made it to the next overpass, and we just pulled over, and I looked at Heather. I was like, I can't. Like, I'm gonna pass out. And
they
I'm
both
gonna die.
bright red, and I was
And
like,
we
this
weren't
is my
sweating
good.
anymore. I was nauseous, like
Yeah.
sick. And she's like, my husband said he can be here in 2 hours with a trailer. And I was like, either he's gonna get here with a trailer, or I'm gonna wait till it gets dark. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
It's a much
ran out
better
of
ride
water,
at
so we
night,
had
yeah.
no water. And I took my shirt off. I had a sports bra on. Like, I'm trying to flag people down, and they just keep going by. And this one guy eventually stopped after like 30 minutes, and he has like a toy hauler on the back or something. And he's like, "You girls need some help." He gets out. He's got his fucking like Trump shirt on and like flip flops and like a Harley hat.
I think he had Crocs on, honestly.
Something
course.
like some
So
kind of
it's like
sandals.
Steve.
Yeah.
And
course.
he's like, "You girls need help." We're like, "No, we just like really need some water." And he's like, "Okay, I got you." And he like brings out a whole case of
He
water
emptied
and
his
gives
whole
it to
fridge
us.
out of his motorhome and just left it
He's
with
like-
us. Beer, gave us a case of water.
That's
Like,
awesome.
we like he had like a cooler, and he like gave us a bunch of cold drinks and stuff. Like set us up while we like.
I
waited.
cried. That was the first time
Yeah.
I've ever cried happy tears.
It's a
and I
really funny
fucking
video.
cried.
She's on the side of the road crying.
like, I
and-
have a beer in my hand, like.
Yeah, but yeah,
Cop
then
pulls over and gives her a PI.
Yeah, and then we laid under the overpass and listened to like Stevie Nicks for 2 hours.
yeah, we had a
and-
speaker going, just enjoying the trip.
Real vibe.
And then Heather's like, yeah, my husband's like, she had his location. He's like 20 minutes away. We'll just like ride up the ramp. And we're like, okay, yeah, we're going to help load. She's like, no, when he gets here, get in the car. Like, he's going to load everything.
And
we're
he
like,
did.
no, like, okay. Like, and he had the AC blasting, like, insisted we all get in the car, loaded all
Waters,
3 bikes.
like-
And I was like, who is this man?
So when you were riding through the heat, do you notice like when it is like 118 and then it drops down to like 113 and you get chills?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Like, your skin just feels like you're not sweating anymore. Like, it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That freaked me out. I was like, why am? It's like it's this weird fever kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, and you did this on the way to the Four Corners. It was still that hot out
on
there.
the
That
way
was on the way
back.
home.
On the way back, and
And
that's
we had a lot of people like kind of going the same route that like
And-
some of them were leaving way early. We left at like 6 a.m. We did leave early.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, we had like a 6 or 7 hour day of riding, so we should have left maybe at like 3 a.m. when it was still
Yeah.
dark out. But yeah, we had a bunch of other friends going through, and that
A few
ended
of them
up
like stopped and got rooms.
what's kind of a
Yeah.
comfortable amount of miles in a day for you guys.
I think we were doing like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
That's a
with the
good
setup
push.
that I had.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, usually we try to leave like here it's 1,000 miles to anything cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cool shit, but like if you're trying to travel somewhere, it's like you just want to get as far away as possible on that first day when you have all the energy
Yeah.
to get out. So we try to do between like around 7 to 1,000 sometimes.
Yeah. We did LA to Escalante.
Yeah.
That was the longest leg of our trip.
Yeah, we left. We went through Vegas out of Southern California, and then we went to Escalante, Utah. We stopped at Bryce Canyon.
Yeah.
Stayed in Escalante, which like that road through Escalante is
Badass.
amazing. It had been recommended.
That's like one of
to
the
me
first
sometimes.
towns once you pass over into Utah, right? From
Well,
like
there's like
St.
St.
George.
George, and then Escalante is like teeny tiny. And we found this like really cool little cabin. We stayed there. We ended up finding a like lake, water
yeah.
place.
Random lake on the
And
on the
so we
maps.
like we all 3 pull over, like went swimming for a little while, hung out. Like that's like the best kind of trips is like when you have that time and that
Yeah.
flexibility, and
Yeah.
you also have people traveling that's like, hey, do
Down
you guys
to
want to
do
do
stuff.
this? And everyone's down. It's not like someone has an agenda. They're like in a rush to get anywhere.
Having like some type of order to a trip is always nice, but like you said, like working in that flexibility where you can do those random things that you find.
Yeah.
Way
Well, that's
better.
like, so I get made fun of a little bit for it, but I went on a trip with Justin George, the photographer dude, and we had an itinerary, like day by day, we're going to leave here and we're going to ride to here. And here's 3 gas stops. And like, it was like the joke of the trip. He's like, we got to stick to the itinerary. And it was all just like suggestions. And so when we planned our trip, same thing. Like, it was like I laid out, like, here's everything that we can accomplish in this trip, cool spots that I had either seen on Instagram or recommended. And we didn't do all of it by any means.
We didn't go to that
but it was
hike
so
or-
cool to have options and like set yourself up for that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we were leaving at like 6 o'clock every morning and getting to the destination at like 8 o'clock, and just like wide open day of cool lunch spots. Like, we'd see
Riding,
stuff and
Horseshoe
stuff.
Bend, like.
Yeah. So
That's kind of, that's the same thing we do too on the trips, is like we do a lot of planning. We try to leave some open to interpretation, basically, like
Yeah.
what we want to do. But to me, it's like, like we're trying to do a lot of shit in 14 days.
yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
the
mean?
worst thing too is like when you get somewhere and then you're like, wow, I could have done all this cool shit. Like, I'd rather do the research first and have all my options on the table and like do what I can versus like getting to my destination and everyone's like, well, why didn't you stop here? And why didn't you stop here? And you're like, man, I missed out.
It kind of sucks though, because there are some spots that you want to go and check out, but they are like park here, hike up, or
Yes.
Exactly.
go
We
in-
tried to do like a waterfall hike, and it was like a 3-hour
we didn't look
hike,
up the distance of the hike. That was
Yeah.
our
like round trip, and I'm
failure.
like, dude, we've been
That's
riding
a
all
problem.
day. Like,
Yeah, that's a problem.
So like, like when you
Gorgeous, but-
like try to go to Arches National Park or something like that, it's
Yeah.
like there's a line to get into that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Then you drive to the spot and you park, and then you got to hike in. It's not a long hike, but you're not getting a shot of your bike in an arch. But there's
Yeah.
like a couple off the highway before you get to Moab.
Yeah.
That you can stop by.
Moab is the nicest town.
Yeah.
We stopped there. A lot of construction, but we stopped there,
Yeah.
and we went to go to the food truck, and I went to go get my wallet. And I'm like, oh, I must have left it in my bar bag. She's like, I got you, dude. I was like, okay. So we're sitting, have lunch, probably like 30, 45 minutes. We go to get back on the bike. My wallet's
parked on the
sitting on my saddleman seat.
We're like parked like in parallel parking on
in
the,
the
side
street
of like the busiest
with people
street.
walking on the sidewalk, and like I go back
Yeah.
and my wallet's just sitting there, and I'm like, I love Moab. If we were in California,
Yeah,
that
nobody stole
motherfucker would be
it.
gone.
Yeah.
First day of my trip, no wallet.
Super gone. It was like the dollar bill on the ground
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
The dollar bill on the ground last night.
James tried to pick that up, I think.
No, Kyle picked it up.
Kyle picked it
Kyle
up.
did pick it up.
Yeah, it was
Driver
crazy.
that's hockey?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was there shit on it?
Yeah, you didn't hear about it.
What?
So, I don't know who it was. It was your stunt riding buddy.
Kenny.
Was it Kenny?
Yeah.
Kenny, there were police out there on horses, and so he took a dollar bill and he rubbed it in
horse shit?
In horse shit, and then he put it on the sidewalk, and we were all watching for someone to pick it up. And then Kyle came strolling around the corner, and we're all just sitting there like giddy, like 11:30 at night, just watching him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he goes and picks it up, and everyone just busts out laughing. It was pretty good.
Yeah, there's I don't know, that traveling stuff. I love that shit. But there's so many aspects to it. So when you start traveling a lot, like you guys are doing, like you said, you find all this other cool shit. How can I fit this in? Like when we were doing the trip behind you, we were coming from Vegas to Monument Valley, and we wanted to hit Bryce Canyon and go ride through Zion and all that shit. But once we left, a late start after breakfast for 7 dudes to eat, get back on the road. It's fucking hot. It's like we barely made it to Monument Valley as a straight shot, and it was only like 300-mile day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's like whenever you get the bigger groups too,
It's
it's
harder.
more time consuming because everyone at the gas stop like needs to go inside, get
Yeah.
water, get a snack, fuel up, use the bathroom, and it just
Yeah.
adds more time. So whenever you do like distance, like bigger groups, you have to plan for that.
Well, I think that's why like you, me, and Heather vibe so well, and especially like I think you and I ride well together. Is like we both have that mindset of like we're gonna stop for gas at the same time, and you're gonna get all your shit done.
If you're
gonna
hungry,
get
you
your
think
water.
you're
We're
hungry,
not stopping again in an
get a
hour.
snack.
It's like we're gonna ride for another 200 plus miles, no stopping. Like go. Whereas like sometimes you get some people that are just like really needy and need to
Stop every 30
pull
minutes.
over all the time, and I can't travel like that.
Yeah. Well, your ass is gonna go numb. Period.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always tell people, it's like, look, man, there is no magic seat.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have to have the correct setup too. Like I have the Saddleman seat and I have mid controls,
Yeah,
but
like
I
your
have
bar
passenger
risers, you have to
pegs
be
and I
set up
have a
right.
crash bar. So like switching in between positions, just a little bit, like gives you so much relief, and you can make that extra hour and get that extra like 70 miles in.
But you just got to keep like pushing too. Like when we stopped, like they both were like bright red, and they were like looking at me like, we're sorry, like we can't keep going. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like I can tell, like you guys need to stop. Like you both literally look sick at this point. The first stop, I was like, no, let's get to the gas station. like, we can do it. We're close. Like, let's not sit on at least like a gas station. We'll have shade, water. Things we can use and stuff. And then we got that second time we stopped. I was like, no, you guys are done. Like, we need to chill. Like, it's not safe at this point.
And our bikes are leaking oil too.
Yeah. But it was just hot. Like having like girls that are willing to like keep going and like the little things don't set them back.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to do that shit. I mean, it's a fun tough, right? Yeah. Riding across country, doing miles, you know, just kind of being a cowboy, if you will, or a cowgirl.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess. That whole concept, it's fun. It's tough. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is easy.
Yeah.
If you know how to do it.
So many people are like, I can't believe you're doing this solo trip, cross country, all this stuff. Like, it wasn't hard. Like, I started and I did it, and I had a really reliable bike.
Like, I think about this too. Like, say if you were, when you did a solo trip all over the place, like, what's the vibe like to be a woman in all these random ass places, truck stops, alone? Like, I'm not trying to say, like, you're not capable of defending yourself, but I'm just like, that's got to...
Well, you have to be smart, too.
Yeah.
You're not going to pull into some sketchy-ass gas station.
Yeah.
You know? I think you absolutely have to.
I think that, like, I don't know, I've always been, pretty, like, independent. So I think that, like, if you're not afraid of people, like, when I look at someone, like, I'm not instantly, like, thinking of all the negative things that can happen. Like, yes, I'm aware that, like, certain situations can go down, but I think you just have to, like, know that you can hold your own. You know, like, stuff's inevitable. Shit's going to happen. Like, if you get in that situation, you react to it. But, like, you can't avoid everything because you're afraid of that happening. I had a bunch of people ask me, like, oh, like, did you carry a gun on your trip? Like, did you have anything on you? Honestly, no. I had the tracker, and that was it. I checked in with friends every day. People knew where I was going. I had a girlfriend of mine also kind of, you know, mention to me, like, hey, don't post where you're at the time, like, post an hour later, which is really smart if you're a female traveling by yourself. Like, don't put it on Instagram, like, exactly where you're going to be when, because then, like, someone can see that and, like, meet you there, and that's, if you're trying to travel solo, like, that's not ideal. Yeah. But, yeah, just, like, being aware and just knowing that, like, you're going to be fine. You're going to hold your own. You'll get yourself out of situations, and it's going to be okay. Like,
yeah, that would, I don't know. Like, if my daughter's, like... 18, so like if she wanted to do it, like I encourage her, like, dude, get friends and like do a road trip. Like that's got to be like a college like fun thing to do, right? But you know, you got girls out here doing this on bikes and shit, and it's like I think about my daughter and I'm like, fuck, man, she's capable 100%, but like I just still see my little girl. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it weirds me out. But
I feel like there's definitely more good people than bad too.
For sure,
like if you do go a solo trip, like I want to say, like if you were to break down, there's going to be somebody to help you. But the last couple of experiences, last night.
Well, you know, also like it's not like y'all are riding across country dressed like some Instagram models that are taking pictures on bikes, right? You got your jacket on, your vest, your helmet. Yeah. You look like a biker going down the road. Yeah. So it's probably not like getting a fucking following of creepy ass dudes that are like waiting until you stop somewhere to fuck with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's probably I just
I think you just have to be really aware, and if you do feel uncomfortable, like tell your friends, say something. Like there's been times like we share our locations all the time for that reason. Like if she goes and does something, like she'll be like, hey, I'm doing this, and just letting you know, watch my location kind of thing. Yeah. And we just like check in with each other. So I don't know. I think you like can't be afraid to do it. Like you can't let that be the reason you don't do the trip. You just have to like know there's like resolutions to the situations.
So what do you think you guys are going to try to do next year? You got some big ones planned, like trips and shit, or what?
Yeah, I want to do Born Free for sure. Do something there.
Yeah, that's like my backyard though.
EDR. So. Well, it's like a little bit further for me.
Yeah.
I want to do EDR. I think that would be fun. I just got an application for a passport. Yeah. So we can do that. Sturgis would be fun.
Yeah. Definitely gonna probably do a girls trip to Sturgis. We had so much fun at Four Corners, and like
have y'all done
I want to do Four
yet?
Corners again.
I haven't. I actually on my trip I went through Sturgis like 3 weeks before and like did all the riding. Yeah. And we stopped at like Legends and stuff like that. But I got the offer like, hey, you should come back out, and I was like, man, I just went through it. Like it's gonna be weird. Like I just got back home from traveling, so I opted to skip it. But I really want to go this year. And definitely plan, like I stopped at Yellowstone on my trip, and I think that's a really cool destination on the way to Sturgis. So I want to make sure that like if we plan a girls trip, we have some cool stops along the way, and it's not just like trying to get there as fast as we can. Cause there's such good riding through like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. It's gorgeous.
I want to go to Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho is beautiful. So, yeah, definitely put together something really fun for Sturgis, Four Corners. We'll probably do like 3 or 4 other trips that we'll just like put on our Instagram and like if you want to come with us,
we
you
do
can.
like local meetups too, like just like small ones, like
this
SoCal,
weekend in,
NorCal kind of thing.
This weekend in Dallas, we kind of just like hit the girls up, and I knew a chick that worked at the Harley Davidson dealership. She linked us, she helped us promote it. They had their own like girls thing going on that we got to kind of like piggyback, which was rad. We had 26 girls show up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were all really good. We had a couple new riders, and so we led like the newer riders at the beginning, but it was so cool that we like strangers. Like we didn't know these girls. They were so nice to us. They were accommodating. They were willing to ride with us. There was no drama, no conflict. Like they were so fun to hang out with. And like that's what we love about this is like the very first ride we did in SoCal, same situation, like 18 girls showed up, and most of them like groups showed up, and then by the end of the day those groups had like, it's like everyone kind of shifted a little bit,
And one girl, new rider,
made.
showed up by herself, made friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Now she has so many friends like down in SoCal where she's at that she can go out and ride with now on the weekends.
Yeah, and like what we get stoked on is we see a lot of these girls like like they're riding together like this past weekend. Like 3 of them went to something this past weekend, and like they didn't know each other before that. And that's what makes us excited about this entire experience, is because like we just enjoy riding, and then we enjoy seeing other people doing it. So definitely like more cities. I feel like like a NorCal one, she lives in NorCal, so it makes sense. I think a Phoenix one would be super cool. There's a lot of girls that ride in Phoenix. But yeah, I think that like obviously we're going into like December and January, so probably slow down a little bit. But
Yeah.
That's what I said about October and November. And here we are.
California, NorCal, we skipped fall. It is cold up there right
Yeah.
now.
It is.
It's cold.
yeah, we're gonna have to wait on that one for a little while.
There's
I mean, I got a heated jacket, but
I honestly feel like
Need
what
chaps.
you said earlier, it's like because all the big things didn't happen, like all these smaller things popped up this year.
Yeah.
and they were like bigger for their smaller events because everybody wants to get out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, it's kind of a good thing, but it's going to be weird whenever, like, if things go back to normal next year, and then, you know, maybe, you know, you need people to come to things so those events can be a thing.
Yeah.
But if everybody's putting all their chips in the Laconia basket or the Sturgis basket, then they can't really do all these other things, and then it kind of might hurt the small guys that are trying to do these smaller events. But I don't know. That's just me being a pessimist, I guess.
You are a pessimist. I don't know if we'll ever go back to the way it was before, right? Like, I think the whole pandemic, and not to get on the pandemic train, but I think the whole pandemic kind of has changed the world as we knew it. So will we ever go back to those massive events? Like, what are concerts going to look like? What are big motorcycle shows going to look like and stuff like that? So I think from all the positive aspects that have came out of the pandemic, like the smaller events becoming much more popular, I think those will continue to grow in popularity. And so maybe we will see a decline in the bigger events.
I mean, like the big rally thing. I mean, Sturgis is like...
Sturgis is a different story.
Is like... That's like the motorcycle heaven, dude. You have to go to Sturgis,
Yeah.
no matter
It's a
what it is.
spiritual trip.
Yeah.
If
You
it's
ride
like
a
nothing but a
motorcycle.
bunch of hell yeah brothers out there and, you know, playing their music and shit,
And
it's
dragon
still,
tattoos.
It's like everybody's welcome there, and dragon tattoos. for
Dragon
sure.
tattoos, yeah, for sure.
Sturgis is the shit, and it's so big and it's over such a large space that you can do your own thing and have your own little party within it, and it doesn't really. You just feel like you're in a motorcycle world.
It's a
100%.
riding destination.
Yeah,
You know, like
when you're riding to it, like when you're coming through Wyoming, or you're on 25 leaving Denver. There's signs saying, you know, welcome, you know, have fun Sturgis 2020, because they know all these people are riding to this spot. So it's like this convergence of all these states around
Yeah.
Sturgis that are like supporting the whole event because they know they're going to make money. And all those gas stops, all these hotels, all these little restaurants and bars on the way. I love it. But back to the point, I guess. I think that like that event will never really go anywhere. I think things like Daytona, definitely Rot Rally here, maybe even Phoenix's, what is theirs?
AZ Bike Week.
AZ Bike Week. I don't know if those things really have as much pull anymore as opposed to, you know.
And you'd be surprised, there's a lot that are kind of on that same level as like AZ Bike Week. Like Maryland does one in Ocean City, OC Bike Week. And it's very, very similar to like AZ's version. But that's almost like, it's almost like the party version of like a long form trade show. You know, like you have all these vendors set up, and there's a stage with a couple bands from 25 years ago, and and there's some food tents and stuff like that, but it's all kind of just like that cookie cutter across the country. So I think those will die out. The big four will probably stay put for the most part.
Yeah. See,
But
like
I'm fine with letting those other ones go.
dude,
I don't think they really. I
I
don't
think they all like blur together. They're all
Yeah.
so similar.
Exactly. You know, like
So.
the only difference between like Ocean City's Bike Week, I've been there, and AZ's Bike Week, and I've been there, is one's in the desert and one's
Yeah.
on the coast.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
It's really all the same thing. You have your vendor section, you have a stage.
Yeah. Well, I
there's
think
some
that's why
bars.
like events like Born Free like kind of stand out too. They're so different. And I think
Yeah.
that's like if events are going to keep like
Evolving.
going, you got to come up with something really creative. Like these standard bike weeks or things like that, like they're boring. It's the same vendors, the same people just moving place
Yep.
to place. But like Born Free is like, all these really cool builders come out. The vibe is so different because of where they have it.
Well,
I like it.
Jason's
I like
going to
it.
put a mini ramp in here, so we won't have
Perfect.
to go to Born Free.
I like
We just come here.
What I liked about the evolution of Born Free is how they noticed what the parking lot looked like and brought in like San Diego Customs to start doing the FXR Dyna show and the Bagger show that's now there. So it's like it feels like an event because all these chopper shows, right? It's always like Sportsters, Dynas, now the new Softails, some performance baggers. Those are what's in the parking lot paying to come into this event to hang out because we're all kind of like
Yeah.
the same age range and we party the same. So, like I like the fact that Born Free is now more inclusive, right? That's the right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more
Inclusive, yeah.
inclusive to where you can do all this shit versus like there's still some chopper shows across the country. They're like, nah, has to be a pre-83 or some shit like that. It's like, cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
take all our money at your event. Don't support any of our events. Like, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I feel,
Yeah.
So that's why I support Born Free. And you probably won't see me at certain shows that don't let any other types of bikes in there.
Yeah, I've been to the One Moto show a couple times, and I think like the inclusion of like art in motorcycles is really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And then now they're like they have the flat track racing, and they're doing like they're bringing all these elements in, and I think that's where like your standard bike weeks like lack because you have these same like genres of music bands, and it's just like one demographic. Whereas like these other shows, like I know like the Mama Tried show, like they're also like unique and they have like culture to them.
Yeah, like you feel like you're going to an art exhibit.
Yeah,
I haven't been. We were gonna go to. Were we gonna go to Mama Tried this year?
yeah,
And then it
Canceled
got
it.
canceled.
Yeah.
While people were there.
yeah.
But being in Milwaukee a couple months ago, man, I was like, this town fucks, man. It's
Yeah.
fun up here.
yeah, I want to go to.
I
that
didn't get to see it while it was open, but
Yeah.
I did see it, and I know a good town when I see one. So that whole it's like that whole town is just like built on drinking beer and riding bikes,
Yeah.
and I mean I'm kind of into that. You know what I mean?
That kind of works.
Beer's gross.
That kind of works.
So,
Nice beer.
Who drinks
but no,
beer?
like I do feel like that over the next couple of years. You know what's weird? Like yesterday, y'all's ride, our ride, and then you hear Harley say like, "Oh, we get young people to ride," and it's like,
We're doing it.
We're riding.
fuck
you
We're
talking
riding.
about?
How much
You're
younger
right
do you
here.
want?
yeah, you want
doing
babies
it.
riding, dude?
Yeah.
17-year-old.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
you want
like
a 17-year-old to finance a $20,000 motorcycle? Come on, bro.
Sure do.
Yeah.
even like the women's different demographic, like I know Harley is making a big push and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like yesterday for like 26 girls to show up, and like other girls that like didn't ride with us also showed up at Strokers. Like when you looked at the people that rode there, it was super cool to see how many chicks showed up on their own bikes. And like, I don't know, I think they're like, we're trying to get more women riding, but like more women are riding.
Yeah.
Yep.
For
So
sure.
like it's happening.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I mean, these new soft tails are great for women too.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like Dynas are great, don't get me wrong, but they can be a little intimidating. It's a machine, but these soft tails, like they're so comfortable, there's less vibrations.
Yeah.
I just think like they fit a woman better, and like we see so many women
Well,
on like
yeah, so
Lowrider
we
S now.
both like met via Instagram because of a Lowrider S. She had a silver one, I had a black one, and we started following each other, and we would literally like I'd DM her and be like, "What taillight is that? That looks good," and like back and forth on
Yeah.
like different stuff that we were
So
doing.
say
to each
shit,
other's-
guys. Say, hey, what kind of bars you got, bro?
Yeah, no, that's
What
exactly
bearing
What bearing?
Yeah, did you
You
install
beat
that
me to
yourself?
it.
Like, what's going on here? Like, so we just like kind of like linked up that way, and then when I was on my trip, I was like, "Hey, you live in NorCal. Like, is it cool if I stay with you for a night? Like, I'm passing through," and like we
So,
just
yeah, we could do this ride, we can go to this bar, we could do this,
yeah,
this.
she like showed me around, and we went and rode together. She let me crash on her couch. It was great. And then we've kind of just like been friends ever since. And so like that Lowrider S, like since then, I mean, I know of at least 4 or 5 other girls that have bought it. And I think some girls like you traded in an 883, right? Mm-hmm. We both traded a Sportster 883. So
to
did
a 114.
To a 114, and like so did Z. Like so many other girls, Allie did too. Like all these other girlfriends of ours are like making that jump from that. Like, hey, here's the first bike you should get as a chick.
What inspired you guys to go with that bike over anything else?
I did my babes trip on the 883, and I was like on the freeway, and I was like, this thing's like 75 screaming at me, 90 miles per hour. I'm gonna blow it up. And like I'm getting passed by Priuses, so I'm like, I need a bigger bike. So I started looking at the Street Bobs 103 because I wanted to get a used bike. Because like I already bought the Sportster brand new, learned my lesson. And I was doing a lot of research, and then the Street Bob, the Softails came out, and I was like, like a lot of people were hating on them. I was like, like M8s, like they're probably gonna not be that great. And then
they were fools.
I did more research, and like I let the first year go by, and like I test rode one, and it was nice. It had more throttle or whatever to it than my 883, and I liked it. And then I got on a Lowrider S, and I test rode that just for the fun of it. And I like going around the corners, like it just hugs it and it wants to go, and like it wasn't as jerky as the Street Bob. And I just fell in love with it. And then I rode a Dyna Lowrider S at Oakland, and it was nice, but I stalled it. And I was like, I can't, like, it's just too much like vibration, it's too much machine. I was like, the Softail just feels more comfortable. And I was like, and it has everything that I want already. Like if I get a Dyna, I'm gonna want to eventually like upgrade suspension. Like this one has inverted forks, it has dual disc. Even though the Dyna one did, it's like in the chassis, like it's better. And whatnot, and something else was on the Lowrider that I liked. Probably like the 114.
Yeah, I think like girls do like a lot of research too. Like I think sometimes like guys, like no offense, they follow trends. And like for me, like I was looking at like all the specs on these bikes.
We're trending right now, bro.
The like the pricing and stuff. And I had a friend of mine that I was dead set on a Street Bob, like going to the dealership, gonna sign the paperwork. This is what's gonna happen. And a mutual friend of mine actually like knew the guy that owned the dealership, and he called ahead and was like, she can't buy that bike until she test rides the Lowrider S. And so I got there, and they're like, no, you can't. You have to test ride this bike. Like this is what we were told. So I did, and like we didn't even get like halfway through the test ride, and I was like, yeah, this is the one. Like, I'll take this one now.
It comes pretty set up, man. Like you don't have to do as much.
It's the
Street
best
Bob
stock setup Harley has right now, like with the bars and everything, like how it comes. Like with the Street Bob and the 8-paint, like mini 8-paint, I'm not a fan. And like what you can go buy off the lot, I think the Lowrider S is best set up.
All of our little group here seems to ride lowriders. Not all. There's only one of us has Lowrider S, or no, two Lowrider S's, right? Yeah. But they all put Sport Glide bags on it.
I loved mine.
Yeah, they're the shit.
But aren't they really expensive to buy from the factory?
They're $3,000 brand new if you piece them together through Harley.
Yeah. So
and then paint.
Good thing is my buddy from TOL, he just repopped them, so we're gonna get some cheaper bags for him now.
I got mine off Jonathan Denton at it was Dirty Dixie Performance, but now it's Denton Performance.
Oh, he changed it?
He took it. Right. He took him off his Lowrider, and he's like, "Hey, I'm like taking down my bike. If you guys want something," I was like, "Dude, I want those bags." So I got them for a pretty decent price, and he already had them painted gloss black, but my bike was silver, so I had to repaint them.
That didn't look too bad though.
It wasn't horrible, but like I'm super OCD.
But does it make sense to get like a Sport Glide over a Lowrider S?
I'll tell you why.
Oh man!
Because if you buy a Sport Glide, the only thing that you're getting out of that package that's worth it is the bags.
Yeah.
You don't get mid controls; you get forward controls. It costs almost as much to get mid controls put on that bike as the bags.
My girlfriend just did that too.
So
she got a Sport
if
Glide.
you buy a Lowrider and then get the bags, you know, which you honestly, there are a lot of people buying Sport Glides and taking the bags off and putting leather.
Well, they could
ones.
sell those bags.
Hell
For
yeah.
like, there's such a demand.
Our
for
buddy
them right
Kyle,
brother.
Drive Ass Honky, the mullet with the crazy. He bought a set off a chick for $1,500 that took him off, and she was putting some fringy leather bags because, you know, out here we wear bandanas when we ride bikes.
That's hilarious.
Hell yeah!
No helmet.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah. And
You
so,
can't-
yeah.
And the Sport Glide, it doesn't have a dual disc, right?
Nope, single disc. It's got
And it's got the 30-degree rake.
I don't know if the rake's
Stop staring at James' bike.
I don't.
Yeah,
I see you staring at. Stop.
So James's bike, the blue one, that's
Yeah.
a Sport Glide. So when they
saw
first
that
came
one
out, we
yesterday.
actually picked it up from Maverick Harley. They gave us a deal because we were going to build a bike, and we built it, we retrofitted a T-Sport fairing on it. When we were building that bike, nobody had wheels yet because the wheel spacing was different because that was the only inverted front end. No, I take that back.
No, the Fat Bob.
The Fat Bob had the inverted front end.
But
Or the
are they
tire.
different?
No, they're the
They're
same
not different
width.
trees.
No, it's all the same. The
Everything's
trees are
same.
different because the Sport Glide trees aren't powder coated like the Fat Bobs are. They look a little different. But, yeah, so we had to make a lot of things work, get it figured out. And then, of course, the Sport Glide has the short rear fender, which looks super weird with the bags. But then, like, our buddy Cody, which is his bike's, he's got a lowrider with Sport Glide bags, and his fender's longer and has a tail light, and it looks so much nicer that way versus the ladder.
Yeah, the Sport Glide bags are, like, aesthetically the best looking bags, in my opinion, that you can do on these soft tails. But they don't hold as much as I would like them to for, like, the kind of trips that we do. Whenever we went to Durango, I was struggling to, like, pack. Leather Pros, you can put a case of 18-pack Corona on one and 2 cases of White Claw on the other and zip them up, like, sold.
What's funny about it is, like, they have these, they're expandable, right?
Yeah.
So, but they look like slinkies
I hate,
coming off the bike.
I hate the way they look from the rear, but, like, they're just so functional, and, like, everyone has them. They're a great product, you know. And
So what James does, he has a Sport Glide bags, but then he has that big Saddleman thing that sits on the sissy bar, becomes a backrest.
Yeah, I
How do you
have
put
that
that sissy bar? I wanted to put a sissy bar on mine, but, like, putting the bags on there and, like, doing
So
everything.
you have
They're
to-
already so fucking shaky.
You have to space it out. So, you know, Cody has one of his too on a lowrider. It's just spacing. You got to get it all spaced out. It's weird. That way you can have a detachable
And then
sissy
you
bar.
gotta like, space out like your exhaust bracket part too. Like you gotta space. I had so much spacing already because I had like the bunking passenger pet. Like everything's like I had to cut spacers and like. I was thinking about
same
sissy
thing.
bar
When he put those bunking pegs on that one. It didn't necessarily bolt up. It was a lot of.
I had to cut like a 1/4-inch spacer for it.
Exactly. No, but that Saddleman thing, man, I did a podcast with one of the dudes from Saddleman, and we were talking about it, and then he showed me a lot of the bags, and I was like, I like my bike to look like that when I ride cross country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or, you can't see in that picture, but I usually like have like a backpack or something, and I'll strap it to the back seat, so it just looks like I got like a strap back there, and not like a sissy bar this tall.
Yeah.
And shit
I don't want to
hanging
be
off.
super loaded down. Like, I want to look simple, clean.
Like I said, that one actually I had something I strapped to the seat in the back, but
that little net thing.
yeah. I just like that look because if you go somewhere and that's a badass mountain range, I don't want to unpack a sissy bar and this just to get a shot for the gram. Like I want it to look cool, like.
Yeah, and that's how it was whenever we went to the Four Corners. Like, I didn't have a sissy bar. I just had my Sport Glide bags, and Heather had her Leather Pros, like, packed full, and I'm riding behind her, and, like, they're stuffed. I'm like,
So big.
So big, and, like, under, like, I was like, I'm not a huge fan. But, I mean, Sport Glide bags, if you get behind my old bike, like, one bag's, like, this big, and the other bag's, like, this big.
A lot of people don't know that.
You know what would be
Yeah.
great if someone would build for the Sport Glide bags is like the soft bag inserts.
They have them.
They have them for the sports?
I have them. I got
They
2.
do?
If anyone wants to buy them, I've got 2 because I don't
Oh,
have
shit.
Sport Glide bags anymore.
So you got
I
rid
got
of
extra
Harley-
parts, extra locks.
Does Harley make them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
genius.
That's what
Haven't
I
seen
took
anyone
into the
with them.
room.
Good to have.
Yeah.
So when you pack those out, are they?
They're like
How do
they're
they-
the same. They're like the same shape as the bag, and then they're
Yeah.
probably like that wide. So I just take all my t-shirts and shit and like roll it up, put my tool roll like one side's like tools and stuff that
So
I
that's
don't
how my
need,
bike
and the
looks
other
as
one's
I
like
travel.
functional.
Yeah.
Just like I took a sissy bar and I cut it, and I had a buddy weld it flat because with those Olins back there, I can't put a rack back there, so I have to use a regular sissy bar like for that, and then cut it, lay it down, then I can strap a bag to it because I'm always taking all this fucking camera shit, and podcast equipment everywhere, so it's like I got a waterproof bag that goes in and that goes there, and it looks cleaner to me, and I can take that picture and post it, and it doesn't look like a dweeb going down the highway. That's the one when I met up with Steve and all them as soon as I got into Michigan.
Oh yeah. That's
Off
not
the
bad at
boat.
all. No.
Yeah. Love you, boo. So
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
it's fun though. Like that. You know what else is fun about trips is like figuring out how to pack. Because your
Oh,
first
yeah.
trip, you might take. I remember my first trip. I took like 3 pair of shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I brought cowboy boots. I didn't even break them out.
Yeah. On my cross country trip, I took like workout gear. Like
Hell
tennis
yeah.
shoes. Like I was gonna ride
You never
700
know.
miles a day and then go to the gym.
You never know.
What?
Go out, jog a couple miles.
Yeah. It's like,
Why not?
I don't
We're
know.
not having this
You
conversation.
Not gonna
You
happen.
wouldn't know nothing about
Yeah, we
that.
discussed this yesterday. Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely learn to pack. Like I did like a month trip and then I came home and like repacked and like the changes I made were so different.
Yeah.
Like
You start to realize that like even like you'll pack things because you think you'll need it, and then you realize you don't.
But you
so
don't.
it's like all right.
You can bring one T-shirt because you're probably gonna go to like a Harley store and you're
You're
probably
gonna
gonna
buy
buy a
stuff.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I usually bring one T-shirt, like 2 pairs of jeans, and just like boots. to ride.
Yeah. If it's a
Enough
2-week
underwear,
trip,
like I'm gonna shit myself every
I'm
day.
4 pants.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do bring a lot
I always say the
Fast food.
best thing to do is just go to Walmart and buy a new pack, and then these are way too stinky, they're not going in my clothes bag. Throw these
Throw 'em
away,
away.
and then just start fresh again.
I got a bougie case of underwear though, so that's good. That
Hey.
gets expensive.
Well, you can find you at Urban Outfitters or something.
No Walmart underwear for Jesse.
Go to Target, dude.
Yeah, Target.
Target.
What do you
Target.
mean? Fuck no.
I love
You
Target.
don't go to
Yeah.
Target?
What is their clothes brand? Goodfellows or something?
I don't-
Goodfellow?
I
I think
know.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck that. As I'm wearing a Goodfellow.
This is definitely from Target.
Pull the tag, let me see. Yep.
This, and he's talking shit.
Yep.
Talking shit.
That's what he does. That's what we do.
I just like to talk shit.
He has to talk
I
loud
love
so
Target.
that mics will pick him up. So he knows. One day
It's
we're
actually
gonna get another
slightly
mic over here. It's kind of a weird one because we only have 4 mic inputs, but it's all good. But yeah, like I said, you travel, you learn how to do things better, make it work, and then you stop bringing so much shit. And then, but what sucks is like for me now is the camera shit. So I got my DSLR or the fucking camera, a camera.
Big camera.
Yeah.
Big camera.
And then it's
Lots
like, okay,
of big camera
well,
stuff.
Maybe I'll get to a cool spot like that. I'm going to need a tripod. Fuck, now I got to put a tripod in here. And then you got batteries. And then you got my laptop because I need to be able to dump the photos out. Or let's say I'm going to do podcasts. So now I have a laptop. I got to take these mics down and get the other mic stands that are smaller. This other little recorder. And so I have like all this electronic equipment.
Plus all your regular stuff.
Plus like clothes, socks, a tool bag just in case.
People that don't bring tool bags on
Camping?
trips freak me out. I don't
Camping
trust
gear?
them.
They're so
Yeah.
confident.
I don't trust them.
Nothing's gonna go wrong.
We got 2020 low rider
I
asses
feel
and we
like-
bring tools.
No, I feel like if you
What?
take it, you're fine. The moment you leave it at home is when you need it.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think some people overpack for. I'm not gonna say that I don't bring tools. I always bring tools.
Just bring
with
like
me.
a little cycle
But I
gear
have like
roll up thing.
I have like a bag like that big,
Yeah, same.
and I
yeah.
have like 4 things in it because you can really only get so far on the side of a road taking things
Yeah.
apart. Because if something breaks,
I don't know,
you
dude.
need something else to put on.
Dude,
You
zip
can't.
ties,
Yeah, zip ties.
Zip ties, shit to tighten your exhaust because for whatever reason mine always falls the fuck
Exactly.
off.
Exactly.
And then,
Yep.
something maybe like an oil change.
That's how we put the
Oh, yeah, that was-
together last night.
Zip ties and a
Duct tape.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that works.
Zip ties and a
say-
tool. Good old
I
Steve.
also like to bring duct tape,
Duct
personally.
tape's very important. Duct tape got you pretty far.
I rode 200 miles with I lost the axle nut, and it was coming out while I was riding. So I put it in,
Yeah.
and I duct taped it so
Right
it
there.
wouldn't come out.
Didn't even Photoshop it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So you need another camera so we can like pan.
Dude, I'm trying to get my sponsors to.
Oh, weird. We should call them.
We just need Steve to fly the drone in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can just
Shots.
keep Steve on payroll. He can just cruise around with your drone.
I love him, but
Probably
I
crash
got
it.
my own.
You need to watch Steve very closely at all
Oh
times.
man,
Everything
was
he does.
so much fun last night.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
It was
I don't
a
pack lot of
shit
tools. I
show.
pack an adjustable wrench, pair of pliers, tape. I bring electrical tape
Yeah.
because it's
I
smaller
always-
and it's
yeah.
just as
Yeah.
strong. Zip ties and then a couple hex, T25, T27, T30.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, though. It's like as soon as you bring them all, you don't need it. But as
Yeah,
soon
it's
as
like
you
rain gear is the same way. You pack your rain gear, you're fine.
So
You
I've
don't have
decided
rain gear?
I don't pack rain pants anymore.
Yeah, I think
Rain gear in itself is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can cut like half of that down, just bring the jacket.
Yeah. I think that's all you need.
Every time I put the pants on, I still get fucking wet. So
Yeah.
my legs are like still wet.
Yeah.
My shins are always wet. So
I feel like it's weird, right? Because when you're traveling and you're going through a storm, it's usually a pass. Like you go through it, you might get drenched, but you're continuing the ride. You usually will dry out by the next one.
Yep.
Versus like on the way home from New York, it was like a hurricane coming or like that part. So it was like nonstop rain for like 6 hours. That honestly, rain gear is not going to help me.
Yeah, you're
the rain
done.
sock didn't even help me.
Yeah.
On the bike, it was flooding out. I was like, man, like I've never had rain gear. There's times where I feel like a dumbass not having it, but it is kind of one of those things. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
When you buy a frog tog from Walmart.
Yeah.
And you look like Batman going out.
Yeah, those things are not designed to ride with.
No.
And every fucking rain suit everybody buys, it goes over your clothes. So as soon as you put your feet down, if you're short like me, your exhaust burns it. So there's a hole in it.
yep.
So it's like it just never works.
Just bring a top.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a top.
You know what
Top
I
is
use
nice.
a lot? I've been using like nonstop is that freeze out stuff that you can get from
I
Cycle
love
Gear.
freeze out.
Dude,
I have no idea what you're
it's
talking
like
So
it's
warm.
like thermal stuff that's like wind blockers as
But
well.
it also like wicks your sweat too, so like you're not sitting like because whenever you sweat and like you're in a cotton like or a fleece thing, like if you wind hits you, like you get chilly.
Yeah.
it gets colder.
Warm out, like it like wicks it and like just keeps all your body heat. Like it's great. I
It's
use
good.
that and then a heated jacket for California winter.
Yeah, so like the last the last 2 trips I did, the one I went to New York, I bought this hoodie in Milwaukee, and then I had that, and I just throw it underneath this because you want it to be kind of tight on your skin, not like under a lot of things.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like $150. They got the boots for your boot, in your pants.
The
They got the
liners.
Probably
booties.
in your boots.
They
Yeah.
got the socks.
Probably gonna put them in your
basically.
boots. Yep.
They got, of course, the pants. They got the jacket. They got glove liners to go in your gloves, and like a full like headgear thing. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't used the whole kit, but I'm sure that you could probably manage like some
Go put it
30
on right
degree
now.
riding pretty
Right now.
consistently. Yeah. But like a leather jacket, you know how big like those fucking Harley leather jackets are. And it's like
Hell
like
yeah,
say
I
right
do.
now, like if you left here to go back Cali. In the daytime, riding through the deserts, it's fine. But as soon as that sun's down, it's 28 degrees out there. And, but you have to make time. So you're riding through this shit. The leather jacket just gets in the way. It's so huge. You know what I mean? I haven't even worn mine this year. So,
Yeah.
But
That's why I like the heated jacket. Like it's not huge and like you just put it on under like I'll do freeze out. I'll do maybe like a hoodie and then I'll do freeze out, heated jacket, hoodie, windbreaker. And then I'm solid. And then I'll put a vest over it. And then I'm like Michelin Man and winter gloves.
Yep.
But I'm solid. Like
Yeah.
and like leggings and then jeans and wool socks and like I'm good.
pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good. Like 45-degree weather.
It's really
pretty
wind flow
solid.
for me.
Yeah.
Like, let me pretense this with all my friends are going to give me shit. I haven't ridden like at all this season, so I don't ride at all. But when I used to ride, gauntlet gloves, like
Yeah.
that's important. I wear like a block lava or something around my neck, so like wind's not like getting sucked down my jacket.
Yeah.
And I usually tuck like 1 or 2 layers into my pants, so like wind's not blowing there. If I can do that,
Yeah, there's
I'm
like
good.
holes. There's like
I'm
spots.
solid.
where you
Exactly.
get, like little
Yeah,
gaps.
right here. Yeah.
That it's
here.
not freezing, but you feel it.
Yeah.
Because I don't
That's
like
why
yeah.
whenever you
You're
have the
trying to-
gloves that go over your like the gauntlet
I'm not a
gloves.
gauntlet
Yeah.
glove guy. I don't like
no,
that
I mean
range of
I don't look like a fucking knight or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about one with a cuff. It doesn't go up to my elbow.
Yeah, mine
Just-
goes right here and just straps.
When I think of gauntlet gloves, I think they should
I
have,
know,
like,
I know
The ones that
I
go
know what
way
you're
up
thinking
here.
I
of.
think
Yeah.
of Skyrim and all these awesome video games.
Thanos and
Yeah.
stuff, right? Huge arms. No,
It's but a flesh wound.
no,
Some chainmail.
no. Just a 3-inch cuff.
Imagine
3-inch
pulling-
cuff.
Imagine pulling up in a fucking like iron suit. dude.
Yeah.
You have like a
Gauntlet,
Iron Man
right? That's what we were
helmet
talking
on.
about. Gauntlet.
Yeah, I've had those gloves, but like I said, the range of motion I lose in my wrists.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gloves
like
are tricky
that.
like that.
I
Yeah.
don't like them for that.
I'm not a huge fan of the winter gloves to begin with because they're so thick and they throw my controls
I
off.
got a set of Harley gloves that are winter gloves, but they're still short ones, and they're lined perfectly. And I still can grip everything and touch things, and it's like I love them. They're like $90 from Harley, and I got them like 2 years ago, but they've been my winter gloves. But with that freeze out shit, they got that little thumb game. going
That's
on.
really.
And so you can
That's the John.
tuck that into the gloves, even if it's a normal glove, I guess.
Summer glove, right?
Summer glove.
Like a
then
MX
it
glove.
keeps that little wind chill from coming in, you know? But it's like, I also like that wind chill because then I could put my left hand down by the motor and get that heat coming up into my jacket.
I was hugging that motor on the way here. It was
Yeah.
cold. 60 degrees is cold to me.
It'll be 85 degrees this
My only
afternoon.
thing is like, if my feet, like nothing else on me matters, but if my feet get cold, my entire body's cold.
Oh yeah.
So that's why like when it rains, I'm fucked because it all just gets soaked into my shoes and I stay like freezing.
And the boots are waterproof both ways, so they
Yeah,
just
so
like
they're
fill
not-
up.
Yeah.
Coming out, you know?
I don't know. I guess I'm the one that doesn't wear boots when I ride.
I don't. Really
I wore
wear
boots on our
anymore.
trip and they gave me blisters.
Yeah.
I wear Vans sometimes.
I wear Vans all the time. Like, I wear them. I used to buy a new pair of
Converse.
shoes for every trip I would go on because I'm a shoe guy. I used to, like, go get me a nice pair of Air Max or something like that. It'd be $150. And then after riding, your toes all fucked up. So it's like I just started wearing Vans. I'm like, I'll buy another pair. I'll buy 2 pair because they're $50. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not like it's not like a $150 pair of shoes that I fuck up in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not cool.
So,
That's
yeah,
not
it's
cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing you like buy your shoes for your ride
yeah.
because you buy like really fucking bold shoes. Like you came out with those red shoes on.
Oh yeah,
Was that 19?
Yeah, that
2019 trip.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Had them bright ass red bands.
So my buddy Justin, my
Getting
machinist, he came to our camp out last year, and I just guess I man crushed on him because of his red shoes. I was like, dude's got some swag, man. I think I'm gonna have to take that from him and do my thing, because I was like, well, I also love his bike. He's got this really badass all gray bike that looks kind of like the CVOs.
Yeah.
And then he's got purple's one of my favorite colors to paint with.
I love purple.
So he has purple wheels, and then he's just got these red shoes, and I'm just like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think I gave him more of a sex vibe, but I bit my lip.
That was.
You know?
Love that again, dude.
So we did, I did that on the bike, but also because all the pictures you take, and then you show up to Born Free, it just identifiable. Like, oh, the red shoe dude. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may
Red shoe
be.
gang. Red shoe gang.
Like one
I'm
time,
about
I
it.
think we were in Vegas. You were wearing the red shoes.
Yeah.
And I had a red hat on, and someone was trying to find me, and I was like, I was looking for red shoes, and here you are with the red hat. And I was like, it's kind of stupid, but it's a thing. I got a couple
funny.
pairs of all red shoes, so I dig them because they fuck up really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially from the shifter.
Yeah. I want all red Van slip-ons, everything red, soles, all that.
You can custom make
Why do you
slip-ons.
like the slip-ons so
I
much?
so when I travel.
Do you not have slip-ons?
I had one pair I bought because everybody else was fucking doing it.
They're
Hated
so
them.
convenient.
Yeah, do you know how
I have a
okay,
pair. I don't think I ever
I
wear
don't want
them, though.
laces ever again in my
when
life.
you're in a tent and
True.
you're trying to put shoes on, it's just so much easier to throw them out there, and just the first two steps out is putting your foot
It's
in
easy when
the.
you like are kind of flexible and you can reach your feet.
See, I wouldn't kind of go
Oh
there.
my god! Get out of here!
I just
with
got that
your,
flexibility.
with your boots over there.
Yeah.
You know how hard these motherfuckers are to put on, dude?
That's why
Get
they.
into a tent and you're like, oh.
That's why they sleep with those things on, because they just can't take them off. End of the day.
When have you ever seen me not sleeping in my boots when we camp?
I don't usually see you sleeping at all because you're in your tent and I'm not in there.
Didn't think about that for us. Question.
No, but like it's easier that way. And then like the normal Vans, like these ones, I guess just the classics, I can pull them on and off without having to tie them. But
Yeah.
the other one, the ones that are below this or whatever, that are like more like Keds. If you remember
Yes.
those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
Yep.
fucking. I can't slip those on and off. There's
Yeah.
not enough.
No?
No.
I do it all the time. I never untie them.
I can't slip those on.
The high tops, I like ride in those a lot.
Yeah.
But they're really hard to get on and off. It's
They
a
are.
task.
They are.
I have to like completely unlace them pretty much.
I just lace them. I leave the top 2 or 3 undone. That way I can slip it in and out.
Yeah.
But then it's also like catching all the wind into
Yeah,
it.
but then they're like super wobbly.
Yeah.
And I don't want them like wobbly. It's that middle ground, like when you try to like tie a laced shoe so you can slide on and off. This has nothing to do with motorcycles anymore. It's that middle ground. I think it took me
So
it took me like 4 months to get these shoes tied perfectly, and now I can just slide them on.
Yeah.
That's it.
So where do you guys shop at?
So anyway, we were supposed to be talking about motorcycles, not
So
vans.
other than that, how do you guys? Is this your first time through Dallas or what's up?
I think I drove through here whenever I
Yeah.
moved to California, but it was just going through with the U-Haul. Didn't
Yeah.
stop. It was thunderstorms, tornadoes, blizzards.
All the same time.
We don't have that many tornadoes here.
It was awful. There were 6 that night. 6 touchdown. It was great. 18
calling your
wheeler
bluff.
flipped over in front of us. Like, was not a fan of Texas.
There
That's
were-
better.
A couple years ago, like in 2016 or 15,
Yeah.
right at Christmas.
That's whenever we came through.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we had.
We left the day after
Yeah.
Christmas, 2015, and we stopped in Nashville. And then we left from Nashville to go to Arizona because I just wanted to see the Grand Canyon. That's the only thing I wanted to do in this whole cross country, like whatever. And we get into Texas, and it starts like pissing rain, and my phone's going off. It's like, tornado, seek shelter now. And I'm like, hey, like we should. He's like, no, we're good. We kept driving, and then the thunderstorms turned into snow, and it's a fucking blizzard, and it was just crazy. Like, all the roads got shut down. So many people were stuck. My ex was, like, super helpful, so we had to have everyone out of the ditch. Like, 18-wheeler flipped in front of us, and we had to, like, take a baseball bat to his windshield and get him out. And so, like, Texas wasn't that great to me.
I feel like
But it's better this
Wow.
time.
Yeah, second time
Okay.
was better.
Last night, it was a little wild, but...
Yeah.
But you didn't pull anyone out of windshields last night.
No, we
Okay,
just got
that's
stuck
good.
in the middle of the road
No, it's
with
okay.
the trailer hitch broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas is just not for you.
I've had a great time.
Thank you.
Taylor has not experienced anything like that. Texas has been very normal.
Bike
to her.
died, tried to push it with another bike. That bike
I did
died.
drop a bagger last night. But
Yeah. That bag looks like it's always been dropped. So. No, how'd y'all like Deep Ellum though? Like that's kind of our.
That place was so cool.
Yeah.
We
walked around. We took a lap.
Yeah. We walked around and like all like the painted walls and like all the bars looked
The
super
neon
cool.
signs, like super pretty, super
that
cool,
place a lot.
chill vibe.
It's one of our party districts that I think it fits the biker crowd the best. It's like it's got like the street over from where we were doing the thing was it's more classy on that street. It's more,
we saw that.
Yeah, and then you come to this street. This is more like the street that the Anvil Pub's on is more the older bars. It's been there for 20, 30, 40 years kind of vibe. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's more of a vibe. So then, we have a few other districts in around Dallas that are also the same way. Like my wife works in Bishop Arts, which is another cool area that has like restaurants and bars and food, but it's also got a lot of boutiques and things like that where you can go and, buy shit and stuff like that. And then there's Greenville Avenue, which is another bar. Yeah. Then there's Uptown, which is like the college bar town area, which is, it's like a lot of lawyer kids, dad. Yeah. My dad's lawyer kids, whatever the fuck. Short shorts, long sleeves.
You can't come in if you have face tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
One thing we realized about Dallas too, when we were like planning all this, is everything's like in Dallas, and then we like started to map it out, and everything's like an hour from each other, but it's like all considered Dallas.
Yeah. Well, I hit up like Stacy Will, and I was like, hey, like what's good in Dallas? She's like, that's like asking like what's good in the Bay. Like it's so big, and
and there's like a lot to
going
do.
to your house to Zach's house to go pick up where my bike was at, and like trying to go eat or like go to Anvil and start. Like it's just like so big.
If I'd have known that, like I think I was recommended to you. I would have probably just got an Airbnb in Dallas somewhere.
We should have definitely gotten an Airbnb.
And like had everybody there because like you guys left pretty early last night because you had a fucking 2-hour ride home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would
Turned
not
into
want
5, but it was fine.
I would not want to drink and go ride to where Zach lives.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's like we both.
We were
gonna
try and stay in Dallas last night. Like we were trying to stay like downtown, keep partying. And they're like, oh, I need to go back, like charge the bikes. And then we went back, and the bikes broke down, and it was just wild.
The stunt bikes broke down.
Stunt bikes broke down.
Weird.
Shocker. Rode it all day. It was fine.
Weird.
Steve hopped on it. Broke down.
Broke down.
What
Steve.
a surprise, Steve.
Like we went like 500 feet. Broke down. But
yeah, I mean the hood ride was fun though. I mean, like for us at least, Mark helped me put this on this year, and it was a lot more people than last time. We had like
you guys had a huge group. Like we got to Strokers kind of early because our ride dumped out there, and like that bar is super cool. It was already kind of packed, and then you guys pulled in. And then when you guys were leaving and stuff, like it was a massive crowd. I honestly like wasn't expecting that many people to show up.
I didn't think
either.
Yeah. Because there were so many people at Strokers, I'm like,
yeah,
I
like
don't know who is with this.
It was it was hard.
So
it was
like
hard. There's a lot of different vibes there.
Our buddy James like posted the video of all of us leaving. It was like
I saw that.
I was like, God damn.
Yeah, there was like 100 plus.
Yeah.
Easy.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
There was all sorts of different riders out there. We had a couple.
Yeah, we were trying to kind of not that we didn't want the sport bike riders to come, but it was like there's so many stunt rides for sport bikes that we were really trying to make this Harley centric.
Yeah.
And I mean, Indians could have come, but they didn't because they got it. You know what I mean?
There was one Indian there.
Yeah,
he left out with us. Ask James. It's on the video.
Yeah. For sure. He's not making my video.
For sure.
No, it was kind of scary because usually the last time we did it, we told everybody that has not learned how to do a wheelie yet to not try to learn how to do a wheelie.
No,
that's not the place.
Where you do
that's not the place
exactly.
to do
it. There's so much that can go wrong.
Which our buddy Saxon went down. He definitely didn't need to be trying to do wheelies. But that was kind of a scary thing because we were all trying to be like some of us were in the front, the photographers and the video guys were trying to get the footage. But then it's hard because you got all these fucking bikes shooting into like what's going on because these guys are stunting at 25, 30 miles an hour. And then you got this dude over here doing a power wheelie in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't have any actual, like those dudes.
Yeah, we didn't have any bike on bike accidents. It was just people nailing curbs, coming down hard. And, thankfully, none of those dudes really got seriously hurt. No one had to get professional medical treatment, right?
Yeah.
Like Saxon didn't.
No, he
didn't
to the bar and party.
Yeah, exactly. He was drinking all night, so he was fine.
I mean, I drank after my accident too. I think it's the thing to do.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like Saxon had been practicing and has been doing it for a couple months now, but I think it's just like a performance anxiety thing. Like now that there's all no seriously, like there's a ton of people there, and now you're like supposed to be putting.
Why are you laughing, Jace?
Putting on a show, you know.
Yeah.
So everybody's gonna like try harder, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
We're gonna push it a little bit.
Everyone shows out.
Yeah, but so there's a difference between someone that can do a power wheelie and someone that is pulling it to balance point and controlling it the way Zach
Well,
and
that's the difference
Steve.
between a professional and an amateur.
Yeah, so you know, I wanted everybody to come and be a part of it because when you're breaking all those laws and you're passing cops on doing wheelies and they're just like got their blinders on, like they're not even trying. Like I'm just gonna act like I didn't see any of this shit. It's what the cops were doing when we were going by.
Yeah.
And I want people to be a part of that because as soon as everybody got the anvil, they're like, dude, that was fucking sick. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, yeah. And we weren't even wheeling. It was just crazy to be a part.
Well, it's
of
like
that.
such like a fun energy. Like I've been on like a bunch of stunt rides. Like one of our really good friends, she's a chick that stunts. She's badass. I go with her all the time, and we actually like use our headsets all the time. And even like I was telling,
What
Erin
kind of
yesterday-
headsets?
Well, she is not on the cool train, but we're gonna try and get her on there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're gonna try and get there.
What are you talking about? Smash stunts or whatever?
No, her name's Shoni.
Shoni.
She's been riding Harleys for like 4 months, and she can like already like wheelie and scrape her Sportster.
She wants to do a hand drag by like end of the year.
And she's really cool because like I think a lot of like girls come from sport bikes to Harleys, and you see that in what they do, and she's only ridden a Harley. So when you watch her do it, like her style is so different, and she's just like every time I ride with her, she gets better and better, and like she's to the point where like she can get her wheelies up, and her bike control blows my mind. Like she's like balance point moving.
And
back
she's like
and
what,
forth.
23?
Yeah, and she's absolutely fearless. But we'll go on these rides, and my absolute favorite thing to do is like. It's like all these dudes and like, oh, who like invited the chicks? Like what is this? And then all of a sudden she'll do a wheelie, and it's just like game changer. But I mean, I think too, like it's just so, like such a fun energy, and like it's cool when you have like people that stunt and people that don't stunt, because I think the people that don't stunt get to see it up close, and you're all riding together, and like you said, you're going through lights together, and it's like we're all this one unit. But like like we like have our headsets on, and we were talking the whole time. I was like, that'd be like a funny video to like mic us up to like what's going on in front of us.
And you have like the GoPro visual, and you're like, oh, look at this guy. Like, oh, fuck, he just almost ate it.
Yeah, we're like making like motorcycle noises as people are like doing stuff, and it's just like, yeah, we're like, oh, look at that guy.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, but no, it's such like a fun energy. Like anytime I get invited to go, like I don't stunt, but it's like fun to do, and it's just to get that many people to go ride, and everyone's like so excited and like hyped on each other.
Yeah, it's, you know, like there are people that do these things. I mean, the hood ride is you know, Zach told me about it. Like they would do these things on sport bikes, and you know, Zach was like, man, we should just do one here for the Harley guys. And the first one was kind of like a 2-day thing that we said, all right, Saturday morning we're doing this. But at the time, the lockdown was still going on, so we only had. It was like right when they started reopening restaurants here, so it was like May, like early May, before we got re-locked down.
Is that when you didn't the first hood ride?
Yeah, it was like May 5th. It was like Cinco de Mayo week.
Right after the camp out, it was like 2 weeks.
A week,
or so.
yeah.
A week
I
or
feel like it was
two.
like last year.
No. So like, we did the camp out, and there's always been like a division in Dallas between like us at Anvil and DFW Dyna Crew, and so we do the camp out, and all these people from all over the country are riding it, and it's a big thing. But none of those guys come because.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, but now you see when we're both together, like our side and their side, our Dallas scene is pretty awesome because we have like, we're more the travel guys. They're more the stunt guys. You know what I mean? And so, you know, like I think that you put them all together and you just have one badass scene here in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so that's what we were actually talking about that last night. But that hood ride was to kind of squash the beef and bring us all together and just ride and party together.
Yeah.
And it's completely worked. And then this time it was about, you know, Lexin, you know, Mark reached out and said, hey, let's do another hood ride. We actually been talking about a way to get him back on the podcast because I was actually going to ride to Cali and sit down with Anthony.
No.
But then that was at Sturgis. I said that. And then since Sturgis, nothing that I've done has been planned.
Yeah.
Everything's been a shit show. But it's been a good shit show. So, yeah, this
Such
one
is
was.
life.
Yeah, we just want people to come out and check it out. And, you know, some of the guys that showed up to that ride yesterday are not really like the kind of bikes that we ride, and you know, for lack of a better term, they don't really dress like us, but
that's okay.
it's fine. But like, they might feel uncomfortable coming around us because we're all kind of like-minded in our fashion, I guess you will, or whatever the fuck. And Well, I know it's stupid to say that, but it is a thing. Like, you know,
Well, we feel the same way, like with the women and stuff. Like, there's all types of different girls. Like, we had a girl show up on like a Honda Shadow, and it was like her first time, her first bike,
Her first group
do you
brand
not
new
like?
girl rider.
Do you not like when a chick shows up with the Harley bedazzled shirts all over? Do you not go?
Like,
you-
it's
you
a,
like-
it's a little flamboyant, but like also like.
I mean, it's
she's-
cool.
You're riding.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fucking
If
riding.
they
like,
can like hang with
Can y'all
us
talk shit
and
to
ride.
each other and everybody takes it okay?
I mean, I talk shit all the time. I was at the campground. We're sitting around the fire, and like my friend Danielle was like saying something like, "Oh, you look so pretty." And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you're fucking split ends, dude." And she's like,
Yeah, no filter. No filter.
"No filter." Like, I'm sorry. And then like she looked at me. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
But I mean,
Jace, you're split ends.
yeah. But
So bad.
But yeah, you just gotta, I mean, know your audience too.
Yeah.
Like if you're
I
with
think-
somebody that's super like offended by
Well, and
everything.
I think you have those people too, those personalities that can bring them together. So like, not everyone's gonna get along, but I think you have like a few core people. Like when I first came to Dallas, I was here with like someone that I used to like race moto with. Like I didn't know anyone, and like Zach hit me up, and I went on like a mini stunt ride with them, and like some of the guys were there last night. It was cool to see them again. But you have like those like connector people that like. You know, like I think he's good because he can like link like the sport bike and the Harley people, and
Zach is an asset to us here in Dallas
Yeah.
because the people he's good at wheeling. Obviously, he's a very talented stunt rider, but his ability to show people how to get it to that level.
Yeah.
He took my buddy Brad, which I don't know if you guys met Brad. He was sitting here when you and Steve pulled up the other day on the
Okay.
purple and turquoise Dyna.
yeah.
So Brad was doing power wheelies, and then Zach was working here for a while, and then Brad goes to the lot, and now Brad's out there fucking spinning his front wheel on the highway in like 4 months. And all the other dudes that go to the Fort Worth lot, Ritz Cracker, he's out there killing it right now doing wheelies. It's like he's taught so many people how to get to that control point, get it past the power wheelie. And that's what I would say about Saxon. If he really wants to do the stunt thing, he needs to go to the lot and work with Zach. And Zach's going to tell you what you're going to feel when this happens, right? It's like, so you're going to pull it up. You want your leg here. You want your weight like this. Pull it up. And right here, you're going to feel this happen. And that way you'll know, okay, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. So he's just really good at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100%. So
Yeah.
we're fortunate to have him here in Dallas.
Yeah.
DFW, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's awesome. Like when I rode, like sometimes like guys can be kind of weird. Like they won't come over and talk to you. You're just like the girl that was there. And he like instantly came over, said hi to me, like was so nice. And then we were like back in town. He's been nice to us ever since. So I think it's like people like that like bring the community together, and they can bring those two groups.
I think the stunt community in itself is bridging a lot of gaps in the V-twin world, through the sport bike world. I think a lot of sport bike stunt guys are transitioning over to Harleys. I think it's a good median to connect people, right?
Yeah.
Because the people that don't do stunts think stunts are cool, right? And they want to be around that stuff. So like the hood ride, I think that's why the hood ride was successful, right?
Yeah.
I think it's also like you might not be able to do the wheelie, but you can definitely buy that dude a beer at the next bar.
yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so you get to feel a part of it, even though maybe you were just the
Or even
rider.
just like riding with them, like having like somebody do a wheelie beside you, and you're like, wow, like this is fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Rusty
like I
only
can't do that, but like I'm
almost
right beside
crushed
it.
me with
like,
his bike
Yeah.
yesterday.
Well, that's a big, beautiful bitch he's got up in the
Squashed
air.
Yeah, he almost crushed me with it. James would have been really upset.
It's cool.
I
to
would've
see-
been really upset.
It's cool to see like everyone's style too, and like everyone's like hyping each other up, and everybody does things a little bit different. It's like you bring your own like flair to it. Like it doesn't really seem like people are like competing against each other.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like hyping everyone up, and like being girls that ride, like we look at stunts and we're like, wow, like look at their brake control, how they're using their clutch. Like you can like admire different things, but then like I think everything kind of crosses over, and it's a really cool world to like when you can all hang out, and it's not like stunt people over here, distance people over here. Like you can all hang out and be one.
Well, the thing is, we all party the same.
Yeah.
Well, I think stunt riders are a little bit more, a little over the top with the partying.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
No, we all party the same. So, like I said, at the end of the day, those campouts. I mean, Zach came to our camp out this year, and he's like telling the other stunt riders, like, "Yo, this stuff's fun.
yeah, like yeah,
You can still stunt in the fucking woods, dude.
Yeah.
It's not all dirt roads. You know what I mean? But that's the thing is like we go out there and we smash Talamina Parkway, which is it's probably one of the closest really good twisty rides we have. That's kind of riding along a Oklahoma mountain range.
okay.
Mountain, 4,000 feet, 5,000 feet, not much.
Pretty
Foothills
flat.
You're on
for
a
California.
curvy road yesterday.
Yeah, it's very curvy.
on a curvy road.
Yeah.
But so we
On
go
ramp.
out there, you know, like what it is I think that the camp outs, like what you do and we do, help with the rides or the rides help fill the gap between the next big event. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I think's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Campouts are the best. You'll have to link us with your camp out and we'll come out to it.
Yeah, we do ours. We've been doing it at Aram Sandoval spot right there in
Yeah.
Oklahoma. What is it this year? April 24th.
You changed it like 3 times.
I had to
It's always
because
in April,
the
though.
first
Send us the flyer.
the first date was
Once you
on
know.
EDR. It was the weekend of EDR.
Don't do
So
Yeah.
the
What,
reason I didn't
EDR was that early?
no, it was we tried to push it up to May because I was trying to put more time.
Yeah.
So that all the up north people had a better opportunity to travel on their bikes. You know what I mean? And then found out that EDR was that weekend. So I was like,
so fucking bad.
It's on the list.
Same.
So
all right. So I moved it to the weekend before. I was talking to Adam in his spot, and he's like, yeah, it's a good weekend. And then so everybody started trying to, book. You don't have to book. You can just show up and you can camp. But there are certain people that want, because he has like tree houses and all these other
Ooh.
cool ass things there. So some of the more bougie folks wanted to get the cool shit. And so they called me back. It's like, oh, dude, there's a wedding going on that weekend. So then I had to move it
Yeah.
again. So it pushed us to basically 3 weeks before EDR.
Yeah.
Which the last year or the year before, the year before,
Yeah,
some
19.
people from New York stopped at our camp out on their way to EDR.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
You know what I mean?
That's fun.
So, and now, like I said, the dude slept in my house on his way home from EDR. It's bad. It's badass. That's the same thing for us. Like we meet these guys, and if they're cool and everything, then like, yeah, man, you need
Hang
a
out
place to
again.
stay
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the way through. There's been times when we lived in downtown, me and my wife, 1-bedroom apartment, there'd be 12, 13 people, like sardines in my living room, 2 on the couch, 2 air mattresses. I think you slept with Mark once and a chick.
I woke up next to Steve Chamberlain this morning.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Mark snores like a motherfucker, dude.
Dude.
No, worse than all of y'all.
That group right there on that wall, you get us all in a hotel room, you just want to be the first one to sleep.
Like when we were all in Austin for the Easy Rider show,
Oh,
that was bad.
We found that like we have fun doing every type of stay.
And
If
also
you get a
have
group
sleep
together
apnea.
and like you get a group together, woman, and you just go to Vegas and stay at the Bellagio, and then you go on the town. It's a good time. You
Yeah.
rode there, you can ride to the next spot. You do a camp out, you do Airbnb in Venice for the weekend or some shit like that. Like there's so many things that you can do that become fun in smaller groups like that. So
Yeah. Definitely more like accommodating. You're not worried about a massive group of people and like everyone's needs.
Yeah, like say if you did have like a hotel or Airbnb in Deep Elm last night, where you could have just like left the bike at the hotel or whatever, and then just Ubered up there or walked or whatever. I mean, if you have like 5 or 10 chicks with you, that's a fun night.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're not really worried about like, oh well, I need to stop drinking now so I can get home and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I dig those type of
We'll
events.
plan better next time. But we'll definitely come to your camp out.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean,
We'll ride out. We'll see if
definitely
we
be
can get other
better
girls
to
come
have
with us.
more women coming because it's very male centric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might want to bring enough with you that you don't get like hounded.
Yeah, you bring
we'll
back
invite some
up.
friends.
No, it's a good time though, man. That area is badass. The leaders do a lot of things at that same campground.
Yeah.
So
We were like blown away by like how big and nice their group is. They said they have like 300 girls in their like I guess they have like sub chapters like Fort Worth, Dallas, different areas. They have 300 girls
just up here.
up here.
It's
Damn.
crazy.
Oof.
That's
a
a
lot.
lot of girls that ride.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So I mean,
It's a
yeah,
small village.
yeah.
Fuck, that's a big village in some places.
Yeah.
They could fuck us up.
Yeah.
They could.
But and they were all like such good riders too. Sometimes with girls, like you get your beginners and stuff, dude. No issues. Everybody cruised, they hung, and I was like, this is great. Like we don't
Stayed
have
in
to
good
worry about
that,
information.
that chick Crystal, that girl Gogo, I think is her Instagram or something like that. She came through early. Or like that was pretty early. Like she
Yeah.
was doing her 2-month ride, like from Labor Day to Memorial Day or something.
Yeah.
Or
Other way, Memorial,
100 days.
yeah.
Yeah, other way. And so she stopped through Dallas. She did a podcast, but then she was hanging out with the leaders here. They went to Bandera. There was a thing down there in South Texas that she went to with the leaders. So like, I think it's all cool. I don't know a lot about it. You know what I mean? As far as like all the different women groups and
Yeah.
chapters and
Yeah.
isn't there like another group? It's like Another women's riding group.
Why are you looking at me? I don't know.
You're supposed to know these things.
Why am I the expert?
Well, I think too, like we keep getting asked, like, oh, are you trying to make like a, you know, like another group? This isn't like a motorcycle group. This is like we're doing fun things and we're gonna tell everyone about it, and like we want to
come.
Yeah, but this is not gonna be like an exclusive organization, like by any means. This is like a way, like if there are girls that are doing a ride, like here, for example, and they're trying to rally girls together, like send us your flyer, like we'll.
It's almost like an
it.
event coordination.
Yeah.
Right.
We just want to like promote the women's riding community.
Yep.
That is cool. It. We're not trying to like, you know, make it a club or like
And that's
Or a
important.
clique, or definitely don't want to be a clique of any sort. Like,
Yeah.
It's
Not
open
a
it's
riding.
important
all
to
inclusive.
support
This
that
is not
aspect.
a riding group.
No.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
open to everybody.
Yeah.
So you guys are an MC is what I got.
Yeah.
Out of that, right?
My my cut's getting sewn right now.
It's important to it's important to support the different aspects of the community, right? A lot of times, and it's not male or female, but just a lot of times, new riders are very intimidated to go out and try those different aspects.
Yeah.
And you've talked about it a lot as well. If you don't have people that are willing to help those new riders experience those things and learn, then the industry is going to slowly start to dwindle, right? Like the community will
People
dwindle.
lose interest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
And
right?
You'll get like
Or they
these-
get intimidated, or they get
If we're
scared. They go
all
on the freeway that
hard
one
asses.
time, they have a like bad scare, and they're like, okay, like I can't do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you get a girl like, hey, like it happens, like
Yeah.
there's gonna be
It
asshole
happened to
drivers,
me.
like
It gets better. Like, I think I was talking to your wife last night. Like, riding's like such like a mental thing. Like, I think a lot of people are like scared of it, and especially women. Like, if you have like a boyfriend or husband that rides, you think that like he's gonna teach me how to do it, and we're gonna do it together, and I can only do it when I'm with him. They like don't break off and go on other girl rides or go on, you know, a trip, like stressful day at work. They won't just like go ride by themselves. It's like, well, when my husband gets home, we'll
Yeah.
go
We can
go
ride
for a
together.
ride.
My wife did the class. She passed it and has her license and stuff. But you know, in the class when you're doing the riding there, you're not dealing with like the cars and the other elements. So I've been thinking about like getting some like super small type bikes, like maybe some Groms that me and her can just rip around
Yeah.
our area with, because she'll get comfortable with it. But I think that to be a rider, period, women or male or female, you have to be quick with it.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to see an opportunity and take it. You can't just sit there and be like, eh. You have to look at that car that might come out and assume that it might come out
Yeah.
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, and when you're always playing that offensive game or thinking about your position in the road versus what's the traffic feel like? Is everybody going this speed? I need to keep up with it. I don't want a bunch of cars passing me. That's dangerous because I can handle what's in front of me. So I usually ride faster than those cars, not to race them, but like you're doing 80, I'm going to do 85.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, it's a slow pass. I'm not scaring them when I go by them.
Yeah.
And I'm less likely to have some 18-wheeler or some soccer mom, you know, dealing with fucking Brett in the back or some shit. You know what I mean? That slams in the back of me, you know? So that's one thing that, like, I've talked to her about, you know, but I probably scared her, you know, putting that type of thing in. If she was, like, hanging out with other chicks and doing it. But my wife's like, it'd be fun, but I'm also not, like, I don't necessarily have to ride. Like, you know, she likes the world that we're in, but she's not like, I have to do it, you know?
You just have to set her up like you did with me and just get her a bike and then make her go to Sturgis 3 weeks in
Make her come back by herself.
Yeah. Yeah, and then ditch her on a trip. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
I've
Really.
only been riding on a Sportster for like probably a month and a half, 2 months, and then Sturgis came up. And he was like, hey, man, take my Dyna, and we're going to go to Sturgis. And I was like, fuck! And we left, and it was pouring rain, the shittiest ride up like that you could imagine, dude. It was just raining the entire time. I dropped his bike in the gas station.
Sounds about right.
We were trying to make it.
Trial by fire.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
We were trying to get to. I was trying to do as close to 1,000 miles as possible, and you know, Jesse had said something on that trip that like it's always stuck with me. It's like usually how your trip starts is how it feels the entire day. So if it's cold and you've been freezing for 5 hours before the sun comes up or it gets up, you kind of feel like you have that chill all day long. Or if you're wet, when you leave and you're wet, it's like you feel like you're never dry, and that's kind of what the vibe was. I think we got to it rained from here to Wichita Falls, which is about 150 miles.
Yeah.
And
then
then
it was off and on until we got to what is that mountain pass?
Raton Pass.
Raton, yeah, Raton. And then that big ass storm came in and we waited that one out. and then we got back on. The roads were wet, so our feet got soaked again. But
We made it to like Pueblo, I think,
yeah,
or
it's like
almost.
700 something miles.
Yeah, I was like,
far.
and I kept looking at all the towns ahead. I go, hey, dude, can we just go to Colorado Springs? It's another 30 miles.
Dude, I broke down.
Another 30. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm
I
going.
quit,
This.
smoking, I quit smoking like 3 months before that, and I go in
Perfect.
there to the gas station. I buy a pack of cigarettes, and I'm sitting there on the curb and at the last gas stop, and he's like, "Can we go?" I'm like, "Dude, fuck you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm getting food right there. There's a hotel right there. Fuck you."
And I was like, all right, well then we're gonna have to do 600 miles tomorrow to Sturgis. It's like
shit. That was an easy 600 miles.
it was. We actually got there early too.
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of that's fun.
It was a hard trip.
That's awesome.
It did piss me off too because on the way home, he could have got his iron butt, and we were 100 miles away. Same thing happened again. You're like, dude, because anytime you go through Wichita, Kansas, north to south, you're gonna get rained on. It just seems to always happen to me, and it was getting a little sketch because the storms that were kind of passing through, like that northern Oklahoma, southern Kansas thing, were pretty gnarly looking. Mm-hmm. And we got just north of Oklahoma City. If we would have got to Oklahoma City, it'd have been 1,000 miles from Sturgis to there. And
I mean, had I been riding for longer, it wouldn't have bugged me, you know, because now it's like I don't give a shit. But then it was like still nerve wracking for me.
I was like, come on, you
I'm
can
on
get
a bike
you can
that
do an iron butt.
It's a mental game.
Yeah, it's not your
it's like,
bike.
I'm on a bike I don't own. I'm not comfortable with it because it's so much taller than the Sportster I had. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it had fucking the piggyback progressives on it or something like that, and it was just a bunch of shit, you know, and that's kind of what taught me, like, it is really all mental, and I see people who start riding and then they let their nerves get ahead of them and they wreck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply because they're not acting, you know, on, they're hesitating.
You can also feel your, like yesterday when I got on my bike and we left here, I was like, man, my bike does not, not my bike doesn't feel right, like something's wrong with it, but my connection to the bike right now doesn't feel that good. You know what I mean? And it just gives you like, I tried to be aware of that all day so that I didn't, obviously not trying to wheelie with those dudes, but just try not to do something that might put me in a wreckable situation.
Yeah.
So it's like you feel like this, like just, man, this doesn't feel perfect. Like we're not 100% in sync. So I'm just going to keep it easy with this today. You know, you've had people that I've met people and I've had this feeling too. It's like sometimes when you go on a ride, you just get a bad vibe. You know, something in the air, and you're like, man, something feels weird about today. And then somebody goes down or your bike fucks up or whatever. Maybe you're placebo affecting it into your head to happen, but, you know, it is something that I have noticed over my career.
If you pay too much attention to your bike when you're on the highway or something, you'll, like, start imagining speed wobbles and shit.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Sound too, right?
Staring at it and starts to wobble in your head,
you hit one
and you
bump
do it.
and it's like, oh.
I don't know. What are speed wobbles, Taylor?
Oh, that's a Dyna stuff.
We don't get
I
those.
don't get them anymore, but it's, when I
Get a 110, no problem.
if you do start getting speed wobbles, do your tire pressure first. Because
Okay.
I fixed so much shit on my Dyna, replaced the motor mounts, put fucking drop-in shocks in the front, all this shit, never got rid of it. Changed my tire pressure setup, gone forever. 110, one hand. I'm like, oh, this is great. You know?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, those lowriders are badass. I remember we were coming back from Tennessee when they just released them, and so there's one in a dealership. I was close, man. The reason I got a 131 in there because I reached out to a buddy that worked at Milwaukee, House of Harley, and I was like, hey, man, do you have any of those lowriders? I think I want to get one. And he's like, yeah, I can get you one. We started talking about it, and then we went to Sturgis, and after Sturgis, I was like, man, I don't know if I want one anymore. I don't want to build another bike right now. I was like, but I do need a new motor because my other motor had 40,000 miles on it. So we ended up doing the 131 instead. So, which is awesome.
How do you like that?
It's fucking amazing.
Do you ride it around town?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
did
fine? It doesn't
yesterday.
overheat? It's good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's got a big ass fan on it.
Well, I
Does it?
I run a thundermax fan.
Okay.
Which is the M8s in general run hot. They're just bigger motors.
Yeah.
But no, that from in my opinion, your bang for the buck with that motor, dude. You can't. I don't give a shit what brand you're trying to pump up, S&S, Leading Edge, all these dudes. They make great products. This thing is open the box, throw it in your bike, and you have, if you tried to piece that motor together through aftermarket companies, it would be a $10,000 motor. It's $6,100 from Harley, and you get 130-something horsepower. I literally left Milwaukee, rode to New York, I was on my way to do 1,300 miles in one day.
Yeah.
And then in Memphis, my compression release came out. So it stopped me for the night. Then had Tony at Rebels Den do an oil change the next day. And I need to change the oil bad. I have 8,500 miles on it.
Come on, Jace.
Yeah. It's just...
You better hope your boys don't hear you say that. 8,500 miles on it.
No, not past my oil change, but
okay.
I'm probably
8,500 miles on the
4,000
motor.
miles.
4,000 miles on the oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I need to change it.
I thought you were 8,500 miles on that oil.
Yeah, dude, I've had it for... I got it got installed the 15th of September.
Yeah.
And 8,500, and that's because New York, then here... Then we went to Adam Sandoval's deal again. So I took my son on that ride, came back. That's where I whooped Larry's ass. Because Larry's got a built 124.
Hell yeah, Larry.
His bike's badass. He had the bike yesterday it was an orange paint job that we did a while back. Mm-hmm. And he had like Moonshine Harley, I think, built it. And they do some really badass work as far as performance bikes out there in like a Nashville area.
Yeah, I stopped there on my trip. That place is cool.
It's really cool. They're into this shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's one of my best friends, so like we just talk shit. That's kind of how we do it. So we were at Adam Sandoval's just drinking, and I was like, you want to come get this or what, dude? And so eventually we ended up doing it. I thought he was going to kick my ass because his bike's smaller than mine, and it's built 114. It's like 124 something horsepower, but that 131 shines.
Just eating it up.
First thing I asked him yesterday is like, "You still hurting from that?"
I saw that on the video. You were like, "How fast is my bike, Larry?"
But we went to Florida, the same thing, because my buddy Justin, my machinist, he's got like a 02 or 03 Road Glide that I don't know what the fuck is in his bike. That thing is fast as fuck. Mm-hmm. Not as fast as mine, but it's fucking fast. If I didn't have that motor, he would have spanked my ass all up and down the street. But same thing. We were out there. We rode all the way to Florida, racing, hauling ass. I mean, that motor's great, man. It really is. Harley did a good thing with it, I think.
Yeah.
And if you put one of those in a fucking lowrider, oh my God, you're going to the moon, dude.
Yeah.
That thing it'll be so ridiculous in there.
I just really want to cam it and put like a 2-in-1, a nice one, and just make it sound better. Because like I'm chasing that V-twin like aggressiveness with an M8, and it's just...
The cam will open that motor up a lot. It'll take you from about 84 horsepower to, if you do a regular horsepower cam, you can be about 107, 108 with a good tuner and an exhaust and air cleaner. And that's what I had on mine. It was a 114. I had a zippers cam in it.
No.
I had probably 30,000 miles on it, and I was completely fine with that horsepower that it gave me. But it was either sell my bike with high miles or get a new motor. And so the 131s came out, and it was just a better option. Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it now, but after you do these trips, you're going to fucking rack up miles quick. You said how many miles this year?
28,000.
Yeah.
That shit happens fast. And you're like, I haven't even fucking finished paying 1 year on my note yet.
Yeah.
And it's
I bought
already
the bike January like 28th or something. And I like look at it now and I'm just like, oh. I was like going to get my 5K service like monthly. They'd be like, "You're back? You're here again?"
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks. Like, what? Like, hit me. I'm here.
It just happens quick. And so like you think about a bike, how much of an investment it is, and then you're doing all these trips, and which obviously are amazing memories, friends, and this life you're building. Those miles, man, like they add up. Next thing you know, you're at 100,000 miles on a 2-year-old bike, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. This is a bad investment.
This was not
I'm
a
never
good
going to
idea.
financially recover from this.
Exactly. So, shit. So what, we'll start wrapping this up. Where are you guys being found on social media platforms? And
at FastBabes _ is our FastBabes.
We have a Facebook.
We do have a Facebook.
That's official.
Yep.
We are Facebook official.
But Instagram's where we post everything. So we'll put like all our rides.
We'll have a website up soon too.
Yeah, working on the website, trying to figure all that stuff out. I mean, I think eventually we want to do like retail line, make some like cool girls gear.
Yeah,
that's like probably the thing we're gonna work on in the next 2 months, like all the licensing and
very cool.
Lots of Googling and researching that.
Yeah.
But just building it all up. We had like stickers this weekend, which were a hit. We had a bunch of dudes asking us for stickers.
Yeah, I had a bag. They're like, "Can I get some stickers?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, you can."
I didn't get any stickers.
I didn't
Well,
get any.
Mark,
I didn't
you
get
weren't
any
at
stickers.
Stroke. Oh yeah, you were at Strokers.
Yeah, I mean-
You came late.
Do you have any stickers
okay.
left?
I was drunk.
Yeah, we do.
You got a sticker bomb out
Hell
there.
yeah, we
Yeah,
will.
there's a sticker bomb out there.
But yeah, and then just on Instagram, and then
That'd be cool to do this whole table stuff.
I mean, we both post a lot too. Like, she's up in NorCal riding all the time. I'm in SoCal. I do a lot of like charity rides, group rides with like other groups too.
SoCal has a huge motorcycle scene. I feel
Yeah.
like compared. I mean, we have a scene in NorCal for sure,
Yeah,
but I feel
like-
like there's so much
I
going
feel like
on
I'm
in
so
SoCal.
fortunate, like especially with like all the campouts that happen in California.
And all the
There's
companies that
so-
are down there. Like we have a few up north, but like there's
It
just
is
so much
nice.
space down there.
There's a lot happening.
I know what you mean.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, cool.
I appreciate you guys being there. Thank you, Mark, again for helping out this week. Thank you
Yeah, no
guys for
problem.
Yeah, thank
just
you.
Yeah.
coming and doing
Yeah,
this
we're
stuff.
stoked.
So,
Yeah. Super glad we did it.
Yeah.
Great times.
Alrighty, that's it.
Pieces.
Texas is great.
I saw your longhorns.
On my cows with the
We were
longhorns.
out on the trip or on the ride or whatever yesterday. She's like, did you see those cows with longhorns?
yo, that was a good time. It was a good weekend, and this is the podcast that wraps up all the hood ride events that took place. I want to thank everybody who came out. I want to thank Aram and Taylor for coming out. And if you guys want to check out what they got going on, it's FastBabes _ on Instagram. I want to thank Mark and the whole Lexin team for all the support they've been giving this podcast over the last year and some change, and the stuff that they've been doing with the hood ride and other things we got coming up. So if you guys want to get on board with all of us, you guys check out our sponsors. They help keep this podcast going, as well as our Patreon, which helps us keep this podcast going. Yeah, it's been a good time, and we're coming up to the end of this crazy ass year. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a good year, and I'm not saying that in a bragging way. I just took every opportunity that came my way, and I look back on it. It's like, man, this was a good year. So hopefully you guys are doing the same thing and seizing the moment, if you will. And we'll be back, man. We got another good podcast coming this month with John Jackson, one of the most amazing automotive motorcycle photographers in the industry, in my opinion. He has a really unique style, and he's been a part of just about everything automotive and motorcycle for the last 20 years, 30 years. I don't know. It's been a minute, but he's on the podcast again. We're talking all kinds of cool shit. And also, a lot of these podcasts are on video form. If you guys are on YouTube, you can check out our channel. Actually, you can just go to our website, fastlifegarage.com. And on the front page, you can subscribe to our YouTube. You can check out our Patreon, which has unreleased content and exclusive content. You can do all that stuff through there. So if you want to, check it out. And, we'll be back again here pretty soon with another podcast. You guys stay awesome.